Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the February 7th Planning Board, regular meeting of the Hyde Park Planning Board. As noted, these exits I don't believe work anymore, so you'll have to go out this door and either there or to the back. So just be aware of that. And if we could stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I should also note for the record that Chairman Dupree is unable to attend the meeting tonight, and so I will be trying to sit in his stead. We're going to be starting with a new public hearing for the Anderson Center Dellenwood residents. Do we have the applicants? Ah, there you are. Thought you might have all been in the hallway still.
Nobody here in Dellenwood.
Can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. I think it's usually on. I think he usually tries to prep it for us. You just have to hold it close.
No.
Ooh, that doesn't sound good.
The red light is on, you're good.
Good evening.
There we go. We have ignition there. Thank you. If you'd like to give an overview. I know there's been a lot of activity since we last saw you.
There has been some activity, yes. Brian Watts from Days to Coast Engineering here with the applicants. Anderson School is always in a state of improvements and expansion, and as part of that continued progress, they're looking to make improvements that reflect what they've done to the entrance. So this is our existing campus, the main educational building, various residences. This is the existing Dellenwood wastewater treatment plant is in this area. This is a shallow pond area. Specifically now we have the existing stone walls and existing fence, and this is a automated gate. I believe it does have a pin pad, but it's generally set to just operate when the vehicles come close, a motion sensor. They are proposing, and this is the existing Dellenwood again. It's an old building. It's currently used for living, I believe, on the residences, and it's had a long life. It's towards its end of its useful life without essentially gutting it, and it does no longer fits the needs of the school. So this is proposed to be raised. And again, back to the entrance, new stone walls, similar in style to what you might see at the Marist Southern Gate, with a larger covered entrance in here. The southern side of the entrance will have an area for the buses to drop off, loop stop specifically there, and any other buses they have, because currently they just drop off in the road and have to walk up the road. There's a lot more foot traffic, and more people do come and go on the bus as they make these improvements and expansions, so they really do need a safe, dedicated way to walk from this entrance. Also, zoom in here. This is that existing fence line where the existing gate is. They are looking to expand this gate to allow better traffic flow and better security. So we will have automated pin pad gates still, but swing gates, all new. As part of the fire department comments, these have been raised to 14 feet with this most recent submission per their request. Again, with that sidewalk at that new entryway, we will have a locking pedestrian gate here, and this will tie into the existing chain link fence. There's a chain link fence that runs around the perimeter of this property for mostly the entire extent. And the sidewalk will continue on until we get to where the education building parking lot is. So again, with all the foot traffic they do have there, they have someplace now to walk. Zoom out here, where am I? So this is the new Dellenwood proposed. This is where that existing Dellenwood is. The road into it comes around. This is where the existing would be, where these contours would come up and around into this parking area. We are looking to new and improve Dellenwood. A lot more space, room for offices, more residences. The parking required to accommodate that will be in the front. Using as much of the existing roadway as we can, we will have to take out some of the grading in this easterly side of a little bit of a knoll. This will be about this similar finished floor to the existing. They do anticipate they will have to utilize most of this parking at various times between the higher staff requirements, the offices, parents, visitors, so on and so forth. The residents themselves don't drive, but with all the rest of the traffic, I believe I saw a comment where we were mentioning if this could serve as a parking area. This is, once it's raised, will be landscaped and, made level and improved. It'll offer an additional area for the residents that do live here to have a flat, open area that's not in the parking or any such area such as that. And their hope, because this has to stay active and in use until this is CO'd, they need to get the parking in completely first. So, that's the intention with that. It's not shown here, but as of recently, the wastewater treatment operator has indicated that the existing system is in the early signs of failure and that the maintenance isn't going to cut it anymore. So we're going to have to replace this the existing system. Dellenwood, the existing and the future, both the existing came out of the septic tank to an existing pump system that pumps to the wastewater treatment plant. The new Dellenwood will have a new septic tank and use this existing pump station. It still operates just fine. But prior to actually building this, we'll have to do something with this. We are in the process with the manufacturer of trying to detail that. I don't have that yet. It only recently came up, but it has to happen. The existing plant theoretically does have the capacity, design capacity, but it's just at the end of its useful service life.
Have you met with the Board of Health?
We have not gone to the Board of Health yet. We will have to get a speedies permit. They're going to see this anyway. With the new septic tank, they do look at that as a new on-site wastewater treatment anyway, even if nothing else changed. So everything's going to go through them. This will be a package system from the manufacturer and its finer details, but it's intended to be something that's pre-assembled. And basically, they'll have to pour a pad or pit or whatever the final outcome of that is and put it in place. Currently, the force mains do come along this maintenance road, and before they go into the equalization tank, they make a 90 with a couple fittings. That's where we would tie in, and I'm showing the new system just right on the perimeter of the existing fence, and they would have.
It sounded like it just cut out.
You're done, your time's up.
So that's how we run these public hearings now.
That's how we do
Put a
it.
little timer in there.
We want to get out of here early tonight.
So we're approved?
5 minutes each.
Okay.
Well, we're not going to go that far, come on.
Can you just help me to orient, so this is...
Uh-oh, hold on. I'm a little punch happy here.
So this is right near the existing Dellenwood?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, okay.
there's an existing, this was installed circa 2008. Yes, it's almost exactly east.
South of the building.
How would you
Southeast.
describe that location for nobody that was just reading the location?
Here, we'll go back to,
So the southwest corner?
so this is,
It's right there.
this is the existing Dellenwood pad, the new site.
Oh, okay.
We're just on the other side of the knoll, the knob that blocks everything.
Just
from-
south of the pond.
And that's not retention, water retention, or
South.
is it? in there?
That, this area
Pipes
is,
cross it, or?
Yeah, southeast.
the pipes crossing.
How does it get to, the waste get to that treatment area?
There are two pump stations on site.
Okay.
This, right about where my
Cursor is?
cursor is, that is an existing pump station.
Comes straight
And it
east?
comes, we'll go back around here.
It's not in the depression, is what I'm saying? It doesn't
No.
cross the depression.
Where's my utility plan?
It's not going through a water retention
Right.
basin.
No.
Potential
Okay.
water.
I think the health
Yeah.
department would like that.
It comes straight through, and it goes right between where the existing and the new is currently proposed, along the existing drive, before there's some valves here, and it pumps right in through here.
All right,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah.
The existing system, this is a pump station as well. This is the treated wastewater, and it pumps it all the way back up to the hill on the other side of Dellenwood before it goes underneath the railroad tracks.
Got it.
There's it follows the stream all the way around and goes to the end. So as minimal as we can to get this in here, this also has to stay operational until we switch it over. So this will be a balancing act, but I think whatever we do is going to end up right alongside here. Everything else is subterranean, this is the existing infrastructure. Actually, you can see it going in, I believe it's Google Earth 2009. There's a satellite and you can see it, but this is what's under there. The fence, and there's no real estate inside to place anything, so. Road sediment control.
So Brian, while you're going
Yes, sir.
through that, so on the updated plans that we got yesterday, so you're showing the outline of the new wastewater treatment?
I'm showing, yes, a generic box. They're looking to use I think they're going with an activated sludge.
Yeah, I mean, so it's gonna be the same like capacity, it's gonna be, as you say, right next to the old one, because they gotta keep the old one in operation until the new one's built, and then they'll switch over.
Yes.
We should probably talk to Tad about how this is, because I'm thinking if you show it on this plan, and if you're thinking that we're gonna approve it as part of this project, we'd have to change the name of the project to Dellingwood, and, I mean, we don't need to see, the details of the wastewater
Right.
plant, just like a box. And Tad, like, so, but, what I was thinking about is if you do put it in with this application, then we're approving that, so will there be a condition that says you need health department approval before we can sign the plans?
Yes.
Okay, so, thank you. So now I'm thinking that you don't want it on these set of plans, and that possibly you could submit a separate site plan application, and maybe it could come up as a site plan waiver because it's right next to the old one. I don't
Wouldn't
know.
we need Department of Health approval anyways, though, for the new residence building?
Yes.
Well, you're gonna need health department approval for a new residence building, but that has nothing to do with the sewer plant because you've got the capacity in the plant.
The old one.
Dellingwood is already
Operate.
included in the
Yes.
capacity of the plant. So the health department is just gonna approve your connection from the new building to the pump station, right?
That's how it's, yes.
So it's up to you, basically, how you want to proceed. Delay, it could be delay on one end or the other.
Because it's probably gonna take a while to
This
get
is-
health department approval on the plant, and I don't know how soon that Anderson wants to get, the Dellingwood project going. That's something that you guys have to discuss, but I think that putting it on this plan is gonna hold the other.
It will hold up getting a building permit for Dellenwood, because they won't be able to pull it until they get the plan approved by DOH. But on the other hand, it sounds like it's failing, and they can't build it anyways until we get the plant approved.
I think that's going to have to be your first, before Dellenwood, I think we need the wastewater treatment plant in, because it's, even though there's enough design capacity in theory, in reality, given that it's failing, I think that needs to be fixed.
We're also doing seeker right now, so it'd be useful to just close out seeker with whatever we need to address for the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah.
So maybe you should talk amongst, your clients and talk to the health department. And if Anderson says, hey, we're not gonna do like Dellingwood until we get the new wastewater treatment plant in place, then it probably doesn't hurt you to put it on here and we can incorporate it. But if Dellingwood could get built, if the health department says it's okay, if it can get built while you're going through the process of getting the new wastewater plant approved, then you might want to take it off this plan, and we'll figure out some other way to run you through the process. It's not going to be complicated.
So my next submission then would essentially just,
Well, I'm not saying
if I
let's do it.
if we pull it, right.
I'm saying, think about it, talk to the Anderson School, talk to the health department, figure out what they will or won't let you do with Dellingwood, then depending on the timing of when Anderson School wants to move ahead, then you can,
Or do a phased approach?
we'll figure out something, but I just don't want you to get hung up if it's on here, and then they want to do like Dellingwood, and we can't sign the plans because there's a
Yep.
condition for health department approval of the wastewater treatment plant, then you're in like a bind. So just think about it, and then, right, I mean, does that sound right?
Or they get a building permit, but they can't get a C of O until they connect in or something. The
Well,
conditions
why don't
can
you
be
see what the
refined,
health
too.
department will let you do in terms of, okay, if we want to, if they want to do Dellingwood before the plant is replaced, will the health department let you do that? I don't see why they wouldn't,
Temporary, like a temporary.
because it's temporary.
Well, if it's
but
failing,
again,
right?
yeah,
I mean,
But it's to be replaced.
Well, but, I mean, I'm sure,
for them to
I'm
figure out.
sure they're doing something. I mean, Dellingwood is going to the plant now.
Yes.
So I don't know how the health department could hold you up from taking old Dellingwood offline and putting new Dellingwood online unless there's an increase in flow. I don't know that.
I think there's an increase in potential flow. I don't think right away, but once this building gets filled up for
All right,
use.
well, why
But
don't you
we'll
talk to the
work it
health
out.
department, see what they will or won't let you do,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can regroup.
I'll see if I can have a meeting with, I think it's
Jason
Jason
Teed.
Teed, yeah, and see what can be done. The most prudent path through with them, because
It's a replacement of what's there.
Bonnie, you had mentioned seeker. Can you elaborate on, because we can't do seeker in pieces.
Right, so we were trying to do seeker for everything, including the proposed residence that you may build later. Same concept with the wastewater treatment plant. I think that we, in the end, want to have the neg deck, or whatever the seeker determination is, for all the improvements, regardless of whether you phase it, do another site plan, however you're going to pursue that. So we have to have enough information now, not fully engineered, but for instance, the FEAF has to have the disturbance area for the the wastewater treatment plant, some narrative to get us to the neg deck. Again, just to kind of finish that up, so you can go off to the other agencies.
yes, in regards to the new residents, we're talking that the main campus residents, I think we had a discussion that we were going to take that off the application completely, because that's like a 10-year
Okay?
type of horizon, so they didn't want to have to keep,
And you
Michael suggested that instead of continually getting a extension of approval
Right.
Right.
on it for 10 years,
Yep.
But-
which,
But I think we were still going to do the seeker on the entire concept
I don't think it's
unless,
10 years out, I don't think we need to. But did
It's
you
one
take it off the
residence, so,
plan?
no.
I believe it was intended to. It
It's still there, I'm pretty
I-
sure.
inadvertently is a
But it wasn't highlighted.
mistake. It wasn't highlighted.
Right.
But it's still there,
Still be. I mean,
disappearing, reappearing ink.
One of those
It's
CAD
seeker
CAD
still
errors.
would be
Layer.
relevant. It's not like anything's going to change from, in a major, sense, because it's in a developed area already. I don't know. You would look at seeker, what had been done previously, but I'm not sure, in as much as it might be 10 years, it might be 5 years. You don't know. So, again, something to think about, whether you want to pull it off or whether you want to try and get seeker on the whole thing. If, I
It
think.
sounds like they made the decision to pull it off. We just didn't know that.
I think Michael suggested to pull off the residents.
Just the residents.
Okay, and not to do seeker on that either?
I think he just said, keep it on, I think it was keep it on for the master plan.
Yeah.
But the master plan doesn't go through secret.
It does.
Well, we did.
Yeah, because it's like Camp
Well, but
Victory Lake.
We did a seeker on the master plan way back when.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's going to, now is this residence building, is this a replacement or is this new?
New.
All right, well,
Because it's on the master plan and it's comparable to Camp Victory Lake. I mean, if you think about their time horizon, it probably is as long as, if not longer than, these
If
improvements.
it's on the master plan, it's included in the seeker review.
Can you use the
Yeah.
microphone, please?
If it's on the master plan, then it's part of the seeker review.
Yeah,
But you don't have to, you can come back when you're ready for site plan approval.
right.
If it comes off the master plan, it's not part of this seeker review, and when you're ready to come back, we have to do an individual review on that building, if it ever comes to fruition.
like we're doing right now.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So those are the options.
Okay.
So basically, if it's on the master plan, you're all right? I mean, so we're talking about taking it off of this application.
It's on the master
It's on the master
plan, to
plan.
the extent we're going to look at it from a
on
seeker
first?
perspective, but you're not doing the engineering and detailed site plan because you're not ready to approve it.
I don't even think we have
That's what I think.
architecturals or anything like that. It would probably match
I
what
think
was
it's
there
like Camp
anyway.
Victory Lake.
Same thing.
Okay.
All right, so, sounds like we're going to keep that on the master plan, and after I get in touch with Jason T, the Board of Health, I will have a better idea of what they're going to dictate in terms of the timing for the wastewater treatment plant.
Okay.
So we'll come back with that. In addition, I'm sure there's a drafting plan. We are adding, get back here. There's a couple on-site storage containers.
Yeah.
Where is,
What was that, did you say, Tom?
Tad's favorite.
Dad was having some agita problems.
you can never tell with Tad what's the cause of it is really. Where did Anita put this? Menu entrance.
Where
Yep. In this area, which is just to the northeast corner of the Med Education Center, they're seeking to place additional container units that they use for storage, furniture, just bulk items like that they use in the various residences. They're running out of space, and so this is something they've used in other places in campus, very typical storage containers. They're just looking to put them next to some of the existing ones. Nothing special, they're just well used to them, quick, easy, cost-effective.
Are they going to be permanently there then?
They don't, well, they're not really permanent in the sense that, they're not on any kind of port foundation, but once they're there, that's where they plan on keeping them.
They're not going away in 2 years. They're
Oh,
going
no.
to be there.
No, this is, yes, all the closets are full and they need some more
I think you mentioned
space.
something about possible screening, I think, in the last meeting. Did we talk about screening? No?
Is that where the tank farm was?
Yeah, it's propane tank.
Yeah, you can't even see it from.
You can't.
See it from there.
There's like a
Wow.
fenced-in area where that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, it's out of eyesight. It's perfect spot for a
That's where the
cat.
tank farm is? Okay.
So I think that's, again, this is the future that we're in question, that'll be on we're keeping on the master plan, so that's that. It would match all the existing buildings that are already there. If anyone goes on campus, you'll see that they're all very, very similar, except for color, I believe. I didn't have this up. I was going to show the stone. Is that in there, Cynthia? I mean,
The stone for the
stone
entrance?
for the entrance, if anyone's interested in seeing.
The front gate, the
So
new,
there's
new
actually a
gate.
lot of discussion, I think, about the stone.
Yeah, the stone from the perspective of existing stone walls that are present there.
well, there was a code there was two
Yes.
things, right? The code requirement as well as the new one.
Correct. So something that is not visible on that map, and it's possible it's because the stone walls are actually in the DOT right-of-way, but it's unclear.
It's, I'll show it on here quick. It's
Okay.
on there, but it's, again,
Kinda underneath.
drafting error. These little dots. That you can't see, but I know they're there.
I see it. Yep, got it.
On my screen on the computer, it is an oval stone wall that we usually use, but there's just a file. It can't find the right file to generate the line. So it's just substituting these dots. The stone walls go up, right up to the corner of the existing entry stone walls.
So nothing's
On either
changing
side.
on those stone walls.
This is the new stone wall here.
So those are in the interior of
They
that,
go into the
then on the
interior.
property?
Oh,
Out of the right of way?
Floats right, yeah, it floats right on the property line, maybe a little bit more,
I think
as
it's
drafted by the surveyor
It's
on
not on
ours.
the DOT right-of-way.
It looks like,
It's about on
right
the
at the
boundary,
edge,
right on it,
edge.
depending on, did he shoot I don't know if he shot the wall in the center, one
Right.
side or the other. It's right about there.
so the big question is whether they're going to be disturbed. So for instance, right there, it looks like, is that going to be sort of
These will be disturbed.
Okay.
This is that landing
Yeah.
pad for bus discharge. We would, these walls, as they're disturbed, we would use them to probably supplement and help rebuild the wall that's already there. A lot of this wall has already been disturbed at various times from either just their upkeep because they tie it into the wall, trees hitting it, cars hitting it, water main going in, gas line going in.
Trees.
So those notes would need to be on the plans?
Yes.
About removing, and then a detail showing how you're repairing the walls as part of the plan?
I have a picture-ish if you want to see how it ties in on here. I
Yeah.
can-
Do you have information on the existing gates that you have?
It's just a black sliding,
No, the stone wall. So we're talking about the stone wall, and there's the section that's being removed, and then it curves in, right? That curves in. Do you know how old that is?
this part?
How-
Or this?
How is the
That part.
existing entrance?
Yes.
The pillars in the existing?
Yes.
The age of that? They've been there as long as I remember.
How old are you?
I mean, were they part of the original estate? The Dellenwood, the Mance?
I don't even saw pictures to tell you.
Well, part of it is because when the submission to SHPO did not include that for them to consider as something of
Whether there was
of
significance to it?
significance, yes.
My first thought is it's newer, just because it's not any kind of dry stacked. It's not even the same type of field stone. It's a different stone, and I know they keep putting the column back on when somebody keeps hitting it.
No, we're just curious because
Right.
as you saw in our code, stone walls in Hyde Park and Statsburg are called out specifically. It's in the same style and the same manner as the Statsburg mansion. It's almost exactly the same exact design.
I'd have to look at some old pictures in the photo album, I think.
Because the original estate was Manswood?
I believe so, Manswood, and then
Yeah.
sold to, yes.
It has a long history. Anyway, so the question has just come up, and we weren't able to find anything of informative for us. And at the very least, we would look to have everything tied in, so repaired.
Yes, they,
But at the same time, if that was not submitted to SHPO, it might need to be.
It doesn't look like it's
Bonnie, did I state that correctly?
Yes, yes.
I mean, if public, are you interested, I can show I do have a couple pictures on this thumb
Sure.
drive of,
Yep.
We love pictures.
Yeah, it doesn't look like, this is 1940s. Yeah, I think that looks like here.
Yeah. I do it every year, and so, my cousin Dave, the UPS guy, and George Stevens. Just to, yeah, that's funny, it's a good thing.
let's see which ones here. So this would be looking at the back end of it. Is that everything that's on here? So this is the material they're using for the stone wall. This is consistent with what's already on campus. It's
For
from
the
the
new
same
stone
quarry
wall.
for the new stone wall. So this would be the northern entrance. So as you're heading north, this is what you would see. Again, they exist in this style. Catch a little corner of it, but it's just your pretty standard stacked, dry stacked stone wall along the entryway there. This is looking the other direction. This existing sign is going away.
I like these gates.
Why is it doing a double? I don't want it to do that. So this is the southern side.
Okay, good.
This is, out of the two, I think this is the worst off looking. This is the side where that sign is gone. This would be moved probably 10 or maybe 15 feet. So they could use that stone to kind of improve this section and rebuild this area as we go
Is that tree
along.
going down?
I don't believe we have to cut any of these trees down. I think that is on the survey.
Good answer.
Can you confirm that? Not tonight,
It's
but
on the
but-
site plan. We
It
just
is
didn't
on
know
the
if
It didn't
was
have a
staying.
note, yeah.
Yeah, in general, the trees need to be clear what's coming down and what's not.
So on the northern side, this is that existing tree on the northern side. We're right close to that tree. So we'll have to see if we can't maybe tweak it just a hair, just to try to avoid that, because we will be cutting a little bit farther in to avoid the roots.
So, right, if you're keeping it, it should be noted as kept.
No, that's fine, yep.
Have a clear site plan.
I failed to mention that as part of the Dellenwood, there is a future greenhouse off of towards just south of the new residence. It's just going to be a black-framed, pre-manufactured greenhouse. It's not going to be installed immediately with the new Dellenwood, but it's going to be a future addition that they're installing. I believe it replaces another one on campus, right? I just think I saw remnants at an old one that they don't use anymore, so this will be a nice new
I think
one.
that one is on the north side, right? The other greenhouse is up on the north side?
And overall. So again, this is that wall. If you're just standing in the entrance, the new sign here, that new sidewalk will pass through an archway. We are in front of the ZBA for the walls because of the lettering height. We're proposing a 12-inch tall lettering. This sign will be built into the wall, it won't be lit or anything, it's just going to be stonework, and we are within the 50-foot setback. We are moving the wall back, but the setback is 50 feet, which would make it quite difficult to see any kind of sign at that speed when you go through. So we are moving it farther back, and the height of the columns has increased. We're showing to keep the aesthetics and to keep the kind of the scale of the entryway. We're just under 17 feet. We're planning on it being just under that, but we're trying to give a real-world construction tolerance out there so we don't have to come back when if they blow it by 2 inches. The existing columns are about 13 feet tall, for reference, so we're a little taller.
Brian, you had mentioned earlier when you were describing the width to the road, that the buses would be able to like pull in there? Is that what you said?
No, they currently just stop on a stop here and drop them off, and
that would change?
well, they currently don't have any place to drop them off, so they can drop them off here and not have them walk down the road. So again, this yellow box is a result of my AutoCAD program, PDF converter. But if they just drop off now, they're walking the street, if you will, through campus, and because Anderson has improved and it's enlarged and the scale of services improved, their foot traffic has increased, the car traffic has increased internally. They have a lot of residents there that do like to walk and exercise, and
So it's a safety.
it's mostly safety, yes. If you could pull in here, there's buses, small buses, but come and go, cars coming and going, and the residences tend to try to walk up the road, even if they're not supposed to, which again is leading back towards why we need this gate here. This will help they can, a little bit better security and ensuring no one's leaving or going without some kind of recognition that they're doing so. The fire department will have access to this. We either give them a frequency transponder set up or their own special code, or we'll work that out with them specifically, but we not looking to present any kind of hazard for the fire department.
Okay, understood.
So whatever the fire department needs, we're willing
So you're
to.
opening up the entrance and adding a visible pedestrian entryway into it
Yes, which will also be gated, so,
at the road?
not at the road,
No,
at this gate,
I'm
yep.
talking about what you see at the road, where the archway is.
Yep.
And so another option could have been to just open it up south and open up a place in the wall where they could go in and accomplish it that way too, correct? I mean, if you didn't have the big gates.
You mean take the path and go farther?
I'm just looking at the existing
Okay.
conditions, that if you just opened up the wall, like just a little south by the, beyond the tree and put in a pathway, they could go in that way also.
Oh, you mean, okay. I think the folks in
Just-
Anderson, yep, are hoping to, while minimize cost and time and everything, they're really trying to, I think, make a statement on the Anderson is not Anderson of 25, 30 years ago. This is a, we're striving for a world-class facility, I think is what they're doing.
True, but they
So they're
also have to
hoping for the
remember that
entrance.
they're living in Hyde Park, which is a very historic place, and we do sometimes like to cling to some of the historic
Well, we're
elements that are around, and that includes stone walls.
We're hoping that definitely enhance the stone walls that are there to the extent we can, especially if we can use the stones that are already there and
We were
continue
noticing
that.
just as you go north, they disappear, all of
There's-
that water work, all the grading that they had to do, the stone walls just disappear. There may be a few of them.
Yeah, if you really look hard, you can find that where they were. A lot of these
Yes.
the best part of the stone wall is at Anderson, and I
Yes.
think a lot of that is because Anderson's maintenance has
Yes.
actually kept it stacked
Every
and
time a
everything.
car slams into it, somebody's out.
We were just out there, and there was a chunk. He's like, somebody hit that thing again.
Yep.
And we put it back. But when they're done, we would be looking to have that historic wall tie into the new one as best we can to make it look like it's been there for a little while, that it's always been a gate there. It's been, we're not going to lose length of good-looking wall, we're just going to shift it a little bit.
Okay, I was curious.
And Bonnie, did you want this to go back to SHPO?
I think it probably should, just a supplemental submission to them to make sure they've taken a look at it.
And if you can find out any information to help us, you know, it's a huge difference if it's 200 years old or if it's 25 years old.
Right, oh, look, I know there's one owner between Manswood and Anderson. Start with an L, I can't think of it. I was trying to read, yep, there was, I'm not the historian
I did
here.
a deep
Oh, right,
dive.
right,
There
it
was
was
a-
the-
So you know that, I can't think of the name, he was a
Yeah.
politician, soldier, I think, and he's actually in.
Was there a Foley? I think there was a
Well,
Foley.
the first guy was the St. James
Yes.
Episcopal Church guy.
They
He-
built it, and,
Yes.
and the,
Well, so I think there might have been buildings before that.
that, you're correct,
Like there's
I'm
the
sorry.
lodge that shows
Yes.
up on 1875, but it's hard to tell which building is which.
Yes,
And then it's confusing because they use the same names sometimes for the same building. So they'll say Manswood is the same as Dellenwood, but are they different?
no,
Because you had the one that got demolished, which
know right where
was
that
which was
one is.
Manswood.
Manswood, right.
Manswood was up here, right here.
Yes.
Yeah, the old one, yep.
If you do travel, the wall is still there, that was around the back of the property. That again, if you look at historical aerials, you can see that, I think it was 2014, 2015 timeframe that was removed.
Right, right. And it never made it to the National Register of Historic Places,
No.
which was interesting.
If you go look,
It's
it
amazing because you
says
can
it's
find old
demolished.
postcard pictures of it. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It was originally part of the St. James Church.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of similar walls.
Well, in the business center, that's all, was that the manse? Because it refers to the manse, which is where, I guess, the minister lived. They would call it a manse. And so there's also, the business center is older as well, the one that you fixed up
Yeah.
recently. So, like I said, there's like multiple buildings on there, it's just unclear which is sometimes which and the age of them, because I know you sent
Yeah.
those as part of SHPO too.
And we were looking at some old aerials, and it did actually
Yeah, that's the
look
one we
like
demolished.
the entrance to the
So
original
sad.
Manswood might have been more towards where the nursing home is, where that road comes in.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you found stuff that says, yes, the original entrance might not have been right off of,
It's probably missing the stone wall along. So, I mean, we can see if we
Poke around a
can't
little
find
bit.
anything in your archives.
I was going to say, I'm
Um,
sure that there's a drawer somewhere with some pictures. Okay, great.
On the 27th at the Hyde Park Historical Society, they're going to have a walk from southern part of Route 9G all the way north, and then a walk from the southern part of Route 9 past the Anderson School, and they're going to do it at the, what's the church by the post office? St.
St. James?
No.
Well, that's one of the St. James, is right across from it, and then the
yellow one?
Lutheran.
The yellow one?
The Lutheran is right next door.
No, that's,
The little one?
right by the library, Hyde Park Library.
Oh, that's
Well,
where we used
on
to
Route
have.
9 is the
EEC.
Lutheran.
Methodist, United Methodist.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's on the 27th, I think at 7 o'clock. It's going to be nice, so a lot of people will be there, and I do the walkthrough, because I remember when I was a kid what was on every place on Route 9 and 9G, so I'll try to find out for you.
Oh, that's great.
There's going to be a fountain full of people there.
And what
it's a-
date is that?
The 27th.
Oh.
Yep.
So he's
Fe-
requesting
February.
donuts
Yeah.
and cider.
Yeah.
out in the-
And it's very lively, a lot of jokes, things like that. And, you know, what I taught the people last year, they
hopefully no
forgot
more
about it already.
So they'll be
yeah,
back this
Tuesday.
year?
Yep.
When do you do that?
I believe it's at 7 o'clock
In the morning?
at night. At night.
Lanterns?
No, it's inside, it's just, yeah, it's in the church. We don't have to
I was
walk.
with you.
Okay, yeah.
Guys gonna get safety vests and hard hats and
No,
I thought it was a
no.
morning.
Walking from 9G.
Got it, okay.
Can you imagine the Historical Society people walking in? No. I have a hard enough time with it. No, it's inside, and, yeah, it should be good.
Thank you,
Okay.
Don.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
And
All right.
we'll investigate it, and I bet you somebody knows in the community everything
yeah.
about that.
True, true. Okay, so I'm just going to give us a quick go-round. Bonnie, do you have anything else to add?
So I'll go quick. The main points, you have our comments. Just some of them are questions or, minor edits, but, so we talked about seeker, and just remember that we'll need enough information to cover all those things that you want covered by seeker. So whether it's the wastewater treatment plant or that proposed residence. Stonewall, we talked about the supplemental submission. Scenic Hudson, there was a letter with regard to being able to see it from Black Creek Preserve. I had in my memo, the distance between where the landing is and Dellenwood is like 4,500, feet, getting upward of a mile. And yes, if you draw a line, Esopus Island is between them. So from the landing, it's not visible, but there are parts of the property that are higher, so they could see it. But my comment was just simply, from the planning board's perspective, whether you think additional analysis is needed because Scenic Hudson had requested a visual addendum. So I provided some information for context. We talked about the wastewater treatment plant, so for the FEAF disturbance area, we should include that, whatever that number is, if there is disturbance. Up by Dellenwood, the parking and circulation area, I've asked Pete to focus in on that. So one of the areas, you said you had 12 spaces, but there are 10. And there's a backing out. The drive aisle may not be wide enough if it's two-way.
Two-way.
So just
I think it is.
so something to coordinate.
I gotta fire the drafter. I mean, this is terrible.
But the other, when I looked at it, and I know you're coming into that hill, and I don't know that you're keeping the residence, it sounds like you're demolishing it, there really is no value to keeping it, because there's no overlap between the two. But I don't know if you really need the parking, because it's a nice flat area, if you wanted to somehow shift a little bit where you can accommodate some of it now where the residences are gone, if you need it. And maybe it would help with not having to go into the hill, I don't know. But so that was one comment. And again, I'm going to defer to Pete on doing that review. Staging areas, it looked like in a couple places where you were proposing to stage some of the construction, it could be shifted to an area that's already disturbed. So just take a look at where some of your staging areas are, especially for that first phase where the new wall is. And when you say staging, I don't, there's a box shown, but it may be that you have a very small area that you're staging, so it may not be an issue. And then related to that, just in general, where the trees are and where tree clearing is occurring. And then site lighting. I didn't see a sheet that generally talked about foot candles. At a minimum, I think we asked you to put the Kelvin values on there, not to exceed 2,700, to be more dark sky compliant. So just take a look at the lighting plan.
I think they want to use, they have a set fixture that they've used on all the rest of the campus, which is at 3,000 Kelvin.
It's at
And it-
3,000, okay.
All the rest of them are 3,000, and they are, as far as I know, dark sky compliant
And then,
fixtures.
yeah, so I didn't know if there were other lights being added beyond those poles up by Dellenwood, because that would be the only other area that's sort of a visual concern. So those are the highlights, and otherwise, the applicant has the memo for you to take a look at, and if you have questions, you can feel free to reach out to us.
Thank you, Bonnie. Mr. Sotero.
We just got a new submission yesterday, I think, so we'll look at it. Brian, was there a SWIP in there? I didn't even know.
There was not a SWIP. We kind of got focused on the wastewater treatment plant when it
All right,
came
so
up.
that'll be forthcoming. So, no, I don't have any other comments at this time.
Victoria?
No comments at this
Okay.
time.
Other than what we've already discussed?
Yeah.
Ms. Moss?
After the last cell tower went in, that I think was put just above the tree line,
Yes.
and it was just on a telephone pole.
Yep.
I happened to be over in Black Creek, and it was visible above the tree line. So I don't know whether this new building will be visible from across the river as well.
Oh,
Isn't there
Okay.
already a building there?
do we have measurements that say how tall and?
So is this one
Yeah,
taller?
there's a height on the building, and, you know, what the height of the cell tower was. It was just above the tree line. I don't know if it's still visible after the trees have grown for a couple of years. But
Okay.
that is something to consider
Okay.
with the scenic Hudson.
Right, that's in line with the Scenic Hudson comment.
Is the new building taller, Brian, than the existing?
It's, I want to say its peak height is similar, actually, but it has a much longer building.
Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah. All right, well, there's a building there now, so you're just making it
The
longer,
existing
right?
Dellenwood is at 1 foot higher, its first floor, actually. In elevation, it's at 80, and its second floor is 11 feet, I believe, and this one's 10. So its total height should be similar.
Can you give
it-
us the numbers on that?
And I'll have to verify with the architect,
Yeah,
but I can get the final elevations on this drawing.
right, because how it sits in its new spot
Yeah.
and its height in relation to where the existing Dellenwood is.
They're, get back there. I was there.
I mean, depending on the angle, you could potentially at the base add some landscaping that would break up a view, potentially, but it depends on the slope.
So this contour is equal to this contour, so they're all very similar. We kept everything at very similar height, and it's just to the left of it. Well, if you're facing it to the left, just north.
Could be the roof line too, to change the,
The roof line has changed, yes. This is, if you're, Dellenwood is, the existing one is right here. From the water. Google is pretty cool, and they do put it in boats.
It's a
But
beautiful shot.
I just took a quick snapshot. I wasn't going out there in this temperature in the boat. But your back would be right to Sopus Island. You'd be staring right at Dellenwood from here.
Oh, okay.
You definitely, as you go higher up across the, on the other side, but you still have to see it's over Sopus Island, over the trees that is on a Sopus Island. You have to see through the trees on the Black Preserve side.
You know,
So I don't,
I'm going to be in Esopus tomorrow, so I'll take a picture.
There you go.
I'll send it
the
around.
trees are bare now.
Yes.
so-
Yeah, just so
Yeah,
you
leaf
know what it
off.
looks like.
Nice.
Well, yeah.
There's a vantage point on a cliff
No?
in that park that looks out over top of it.
At Black Creek, there's a vantage point with a view.
there's
See if
actually,
you can find that, Bonnie.
You have to walk in towards the river.
Do what I can do.
there is a site, and I can't remember what it is, that has, it's actually for the trails, and you go through different nature trails, and they have pictures, and there's like 700 or 800 pictures of the trails as you go through it. It didn't print very well, because it came up as an oddball file, but, there is a picture, it's taken about here,
Nice building.
and it is in the fall time, you can see all the leaves are down, and you still can't even see. That's from here, that's not up the hill, but
Right,
you still would have, I think, a great deal of trouble, because this is all very dense.
right. And as you know, we just.
Discerning
we need to
anything.
Kind of look at this from the different angles and take into account the comments from Scenic Hudson.
This is the Scenic Hudson's area, I think that's actually in the memo, I have to plan it, yeah.
Is that Chopinique Ridge?
Pardon?
Is that called Chopinique?
Chopinique is on the other side of.
It's on the other, okay.
Yeah.
This would be the Norrie Point, Poughkeepsie Yacht Club.
Right. I know
If
it's
you-
close there, but I think it's
Yeah,
behind
it's
it.
parallel, yep.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Moss? Okay. Starting on my left, Mr. Veith.
No comment.
Okay, Mr. Waters.
I still have to look at a couple of things, but the gate is potentially an issue, just the entry, the height and things like that, so the massing of
For
it.
this, for the
Main
stone wall
entry,
gate?
yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
again, we are in front of the ZBA currently, because that does require variance, so
Yep.
we're on for public hearing on the 27th, I believe, off the top of my head.
I can't,
Something like that.
I'll be with Don at
Yeah,
that.
the
Might be
walkthrough,
28th.
yeah. Blast from the
Is it
past.
28th?
They are asking for this board's comments about that variance, so keep that in mind.
And
Yes.
they can't issue the variance till we
Yeah,
finish
well,
seeker, so.
I'll let Stephanie, because Stephanie's got, you know,
Well-
same point of view as I have, so.
Anything else?
No, that's
Okay.
it right
Ms.
now.
Wasser.
Thanks. So, I just wanted to ask that there be an elevation of the repaired wall and how it ties into the new gate. You know, because you said you're going to do the best you can with it, but I'd like to see up front how the old stone wall is going to be repaired and how it's going to fit in with the new gate. And the trees, make a confirming statement on the plan that you're going to save the tree, or you can't save the tree. And I just, I don't want this to sound snarky. Anderson is already a world-class institution. I don't think the gate makes it a world-class institution. I really like the design of the current gate as it sits in this particular town. So I want to share, I think it's not fair for me to say that, to not say it, is that it's a very grand gate. It's very institutional, which I don't think Anderson wants to look like an institution. It is an institution, but I don't think it wants to look like an institution. And I find it charming, and I find that it fits in with Hyde Park beautifully, more like the way it is now and the materials that it's now. So I feel like sitting on the planning board, I have to share my thoughts on that.
Anything else?
No, so that's plenty.
That's okay. Mr. Oliver.
I like the proposed changes and the improvements that you are showing us. My only comment would be to really kind of focus on the existing stone wall and how you are going to tie it in to the new columns and walls. Just, just make sure it's finished, and connected somehow, so that it's not, like an extreme difference from, this new beautiful entry and then like a dilapidated wall next to it. That's my only comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. Mr. Gercio.
I just echo Chris's comments. I think you got a dilapidated stone wall that's next to the original gate, and I think your improvements are gonna look good. And again, you wanna blend everything. That's all my concern is, it's just blending everything and making it tie together that looks like it belongs.
Thank you. Anything else? No. Okay. We've talked about a lot of things, but it's obvious that the failing septic is front and foremost in determining next steps, right? My questions, to be honest, the one question I do have is, how old is Dellenwood?
I didn't build it.
If you could add that to your list of
The history of it.
of things to find out for us about the history, that would be great. So you're going to go off and talk to the Department of Health. I'm sure you'll probably end up maybe reaching back out to Tad or Bonnie, or, just to, and I'm sure
Yeah,
they're.
let us,
Yes, let us know how you make out with
Know
that.
what you're thinking after you talk to them and your clients.
Yeah, because, however you decide to proceed with your site plan, we've talked about how we can accommodate for seeker, no matter which way you decide to go. So the sooner you can get back to us, and again, it's dependent on the Board of Health. I don't think I have any other
So
comments.
we should open to the public for comment.
Yes, that sounds good.
Before you do, I had one last thing. With the greenhouse, is that pad going to be prepared before,
Just
at the same
the grading.
time, or it's just
Right
grading?
now, just the grading, I think, so
Okay.
that, so when they put the greenhouse up, it's not
Okay.
it's not weathered or anything, it's all fresh and new.
And is that anywhere near where the staging would go for the, the,
I believe we are using that because it will be graded and leveled.
yeah, but
at
for
time.
the materials and stuff for the building? Where is that in relationship to the building? I'm sorry.
No,
This is,
Sounds fine.
again,
good question.
a preliminary concept, anticipating it being more developed with the, once we get the SWIP totally together. Where did it go? Zoom out, zoom out. I think we're above the master plan. No. No.
It's there somewhere.
It's hiding.
The spot where the stage.
The greenhouse will go.
Yeah.
So the green,
For potential staging.
Yeah.
the greenhouse is shown right, this
Oh,
general,
okay.
that's the box.
Okay.
The grading is so that, this is the walkout, so that eventually you should be able to walk out here and
Go
come
to
up
that.
here, or come down the steps or stairs, go directly to that. We're showing some generic spots, we're not directly on it, we're just in front of it.
I just thought maybe it could be a staging area or something of that.
Yes.
So you're not digging, it's
Yeah.
not disturbing too much stuff. Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Yep, that's it.
No,
Thank you.
that's fine. All right, so is there anybody here from the public who would like to speak to this application? No? Okay, so what would you like us to do? We can adjourn to 2 weeks, we can adjourn to the first meeting in March.
I think probably gonna need until March, realistically, till the March meeting.
The second or the third, this first
March
meeting in March?
6th or March 20th?
Okay. That gives you, right, a month to get the,
Mm.
Let's try for March 6th.
you'd have to have your application in about 2 weeks?
Yes.
For the March 6th meeting, the new submission.
I think Anita might be able to,
He needs to
March
resubmit to
6th.
SHPO, decide how they're proceeding with
Board of Health.
Board of Health, work on the stone wall.
It would still be in before the ZBA's March meeting. Because if we haven't done seeker, they can't take action at the February meeting. And their meeting would be the week after the March, they would be March 28th or 27th.
So
27th.
March 4th is the deadline for the March 20th meeting to submit.
March 5th.
March what?
5th.
5th.
March 5th is the deadline for the March 20th.
okay, well, that sounds a little more breathing room, so
Yeah.
we'll go with that.
Okay. All right, so can I get a motion to adjourn the public hearing to March 20th?
So moved.
Second.
We've lost our rhythm.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time tonight, and
Thank you.
good luck with the Department of Health.
Thank you.
Yep.
Don't forget your class track.
Yeah, right.
Okay, our next application is a continued public hearing for the CIA Hotel and Villas. Hello, Mr. Zarin. Goodness, I've spent an hour on that.
I know.
Goodness. Okay, so you are here tonight. There's your posse, okay. Let's see, we are,
You're lean tonight.
yeah, very lean.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Zarin Lapine team.
Hope Springs and
This is right.
Yeah, we got that.
Okay.
It's enough, right?
It is a song. Can I get a motion to reopen the public hearing for the CIA?
So moved.
All right, Hotel and Villas, there we go. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we are here tonight to discuss a few things and perhaps consider a resolution,
We like that.
right?
We like that.
I know everybody's been very busy. I did get a chance to read the NRI. Stephanie, thank you for all your
Comments?
comments, and you too, Cynthia.
Did Victoria read them? Sorry.
Oh,
Okay,
yes, I did. We can go through them.
No,
okay,
no.
yeah.
Ready when you
It
are.
seems like the most pressing need would be to go through that, yes. Did you get my comments?
They were mine. Don't panic.
On the finding statement?
Yes.
Yes, we got them right here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was saying we can go through when you're ready.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything you'd like to discuss before we look at the
No, I was
findings?
told not to panic. I'm not panicking.
Okay, don't panic, don't panic. We're
There's
just,
nothing.
we're just here to talk.
There's nothing to discuss except to say thank you for all your hard work. I mean, I know this is not easy, and staff has been amazing, you guys have been amazing, so we appreciate it. So let's,
Okay,
trying to talk myself into.
there you go. Come in off the ledge, come on in. Come on
Exactly.
in, it's nice in here.
Okay, let's go.
That's nice.
Okay, Victoria.
Okay,
I-
so
I
we're
think
all
this
looking
is a good
at, it
exercise.
was version 11, I believe,
Okay.
that went around to the board.
Wow.
Wow.
So the first, everyone received this a week ago, so anyone that has questions, happy to discuss. So the first question had to do with, you asked, what does the sentence mean? It says, the applicant has indicated that within the project site, the applicant will control approximately 21.5 acres as part of a ground leasehold agreement with the CIA. So the
No, I
end should
meant
be,
grammatically, it didn't
a
make
the.
sense. It needed a correct,
the end needs to be changed to a the.
correct.
Thank you.
I knew what
Okay.
it meant,
Yeah.
but I wasn't saying what it meant. Just don't worry.
We're
Don't
out
worry.
of here.
Come back in.
I actually
Come back
read
in.
the document.
Yes, yes.
Oh, version 11 was the comparison.
And that's the first paragraph, right?
Yep.
Thank
So
you.
we will
Just grammar.
change that
And that's
right
all,
now.
that's the one I found too.
To be, and the,
Was it just missing the word "the"?
that
One
within,
word
no,
had to
so
change to the word "the."
the end should be that. So they're saying that
Copy of it right
there's
Oh,
the two
okay.
concepts that we're trying to be captured here. There's
Ah.
a project site,
Yes.
which is one size, and then there's a leasehold area, which is a smaller size. And so disturbance related to the road is apparently outside of the leasehold area, which was first identified, although you're probably going to have a lease over it anyways. So that was just trying to capture two different concepts. So I changed the end to a the.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, page 3, second paragraph. And sorry, I would have incorporated these changes, but I did not have a chance to do it before the meeting.
No, that's quite
so-
all right, and I know I sent mine late.
Okay, so this says, moreover, both Winnicke Land Trust and Scenic Hudson, groups focused on conservation and which main conservation easements on the site, have issued letters of support for the project, including the trail system, evidencing that the project's design has avoided significant environmental impacts. So the question here was to add that NPS has also supported the project in its current format. So I think we incorporated we incorporated the NPS letter into a different section, but
I did see that,
I'm
but-
happy to put it here too.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I saw a lot of the detail of the NPS comments later on, but just as a statement.
Reinforcing.
Yeah, it's a reinforcing statement.
It's redundant.
Okay.
I told you, walk back.
See? He came back in?
I've always been.
Okay, so I'll need a few minutes to add that in.
Okay.
Or if you trust me, I can just add a statement. You can approve with that change. So page 4, second paragraph, last sentence.
NPS.
Rock processing activities will comply with the town's noise code, and no processing apparatus or equipment used for the processing of excavated materials shall be operated within 400 feet of the boundaries of the site, nor within 200 feet of any street line. So you're saying you don't understand the sentence, but it's basically saying that
The word "nor"
It's a
is,
grammatical structure comment, not that I don't understand the sentence.
did you say the same thing? Did you find the same thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh?
oh, I'm looking at Ann's comment.
Oh, never mind.
What's so funny?
Did you send comments, Stephanie?
Yeah, well, let's
Well-
keep going.
Oh, Did you
But
get
that was
them?
last week. I thought they
I don't think I have
already.
11 either.
Okay, so it's just, okay. I'll keep going. Okay, so we'll fix everyone's comments.
Shall be operated within 4,
Were you looking at,
it's talking about the,
I think she had referred to the doc- did you guys
the
refer to the
processing
document?
apparatus or equipment and where it can be used. And it says, shall be operated within 400 feet of the boundaries of the site, nor within 200 feet of any street line. And that nor
it
within.
should be shall not be operated within 400 feet of the boundaries of the site,
Thank you.
nor within. So I captured that. Got it.
I thought it was a not nor or an.
Yeah, or
it's
an
okay.
either or, yeah. It also, it is a little duplicative, because if you're not within 400 feet of the boundaries, you're of course more than
Within
200
200 feet of this,
street line.
yeah.
It's duplicative, but. I
Well, it
took
says
that- I
any
took
street
that
line,
language from
yes,
someone
okay,
else.
thank you, thank you.
Okay, so then, page 13, first sentence under impact on transportation. Project will result in a small to moderate impact on transportation. So the question was, I thought the new FEAF only had small or moderate to large impacts. So that is true. The checklist changed so that it's small or moderate to large, but that doesn't prevent the board from finding something as, it's really odd because the checklist doesn't track your seeker findings, because a small to moderate impact does not require an EIS, while a large impact does.
Okay.
So we can still find something as small to moderate, even though the
Okay.
checklist would bounce
I
us.
was looking at this isn't mapping.
And those were the other two questions. So
yes.
Stephanie, I'm going to see if I can find,
I think she
None
said
of it
earlier
was,
they were
none of it was
incorporated.
earth-shattering, but it's just annoying that I spent all the time to go through the whole thing, and they don't have, they're missing.
nope. Okay, but let's go through. So, you know,
Stephanie, do you remember if you redlined within the document,
She
or
did.
they were
I did.
separate?
I can pull it
Okay.
up.
They probably looked at them without realizing.
but I actually am not sure, because the one that you redlined changed the date. Okay, check grammar on this sentence. So, but you're looking at the comparison that I sent you, yes. Did you?
I don't have it on my phone.
I have it. So did you make changes to the document, or the red line is the red line that I sent you?
I made comments in the margins if I thought there was a grammatical change or
Okay, I
a
got it.
typo.
So
it sounds like
two
you
or
found
th-
two of the ones I
Two
found.
or three of them were just question marks.
Okay.
Like
So this one
questions.
says, the project will involve disturbance of approximately 27.03 acres of land on the site and .31 acres of disturbance off-site within the DOT right-of-way. And so the question was, does this include tree removal? And so the answer is, yes, it includes disturbance to the land, but the trees in phase one are going to be removed supposedly without ground disturbance. But ultimately, the tree removal and the disturbed area are all encompassed within those numbers, right?
Yes.
Okay, good, so we'll go through that. So then the next question has to do with the invasives and the monitor. So I wrote, the applicant is committed to monitoring the setbacks during construction through self-reporting and/or paying for a third-party monitor through an escrow account established by the planning board. The comment has to do with the fact that paying a third party might yield better information. So that is something that we can require as part of the site plan approval. We can just make that a condition.
As I said, those are questions, like, what does self-monitoring mean?
Well, you know, the engineers do have licenses, and they want to protect their licenses.
And they are
So-
inspecting weekly, right?
Right, they have to do their own stormwater inspection reports and other reports, so it's not
That's
that we
fine.
don't trust the self-reporting, but third-party monitoring might get you more responsive to your
To
questions.
me, it seemed more
It's
clear.
evasives and about the boundaries around the wetlands.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the engineer's not gonna wanna make a comment on, you know, like invasives. I don't-
Well, that's a
Well,
different
well,
monitor, but.
we have told consigli, just so you all know, that, you know, we're gonna want, and when I said self-reporting was, someone said their license, they have a license. We were gonna make consigli certified, you know, write certified monitoring reports to you all saying, I did not observe, we observed, and, you know, we're in compliance, da-da-da. that typically is, I mean, Pete, you probably, that's meaningful when, they put their stamp on and certify it. So, I mean, we could discuss that more at site plan, but that
Well,
was.
there's notes on the
that was
plan.
the intent.
We'll look at them, but I think there's notes on the plan to that effect too, right, Chris?
Yeah, it's on the
Okay, great, then you can,
above-grade improvement plan,
Take it off.
and we could take those notes and put it on the final site plan as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that sounds
if
good.
you're more comfortable.
Putting their
clarifying
license
monitor,
on
we
the
can
line.
as
make
I
it
say, these
clearer.
I'm reading the document and I'm raising comments.
No,
not
these are good comments.
changes.
They're
Yeah,
very
well,
good
it
because they can take that and add it to the site
That's
plan,
what I
which
mean.
is,
It's
yeah.
not meant to slow this down, I
It-
just want to make sure I'm
Yeah.
clear.
No,
on
it
what
adds
we're
clarity
saying.
It
to the
does,
whole
it
thing.
does.
The
yeah.
monitoring as prescribed in the site plans.
Okay, so then next, there's a sentence you're questioning. The sentence says, "As Indiana bats are species that typically inhabit appropriate structures, such as exfoliant bark or crevices that may provide potential roof structure, comma, most of the largest trees on site that are species not yeah, this sentence.
It's trained as an English teacher, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
fine. This sentence was giving me grief. We reworked it a few
tutor?
times, but obviously not good enough.
you tutor?
Or get rid of the vowel.
I'm bad, I could use
As
that.
an editor and a proofreader, don't ask.
No, are species not typically, it's trying to say, Indiana bats, okay, I'm gonna fix this to say, they are species that typically inhabit appropriate structures such as exfoliant bark, and most of the largest trees are not typically used by
Correct.
Indiana.
Ah, that
Next-
sounds much
Okay, so
better.
now you're saying what we mean to say.
Okay, so let me find that one on this one.
Good catch.
Cool, now you pass go.
Yeah.
Collect one.
There was an acronym you asked about too, and she wrote that one in.
Oh, it's New York Natural Heritage Program.
Okay, thanks.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of that acronym.
That's why I stick to pictures.
Everybody-
Concentration is
Everybody
everybody.
has
Oh,
their,
no,
everybody has
I-
preferences, yes, exactly.
Me-
Okay, that
me
one's
reading, writing,
changed.
and
All right,
you
so
drawing, we're
keep
good.
going. Okay, so then, yes, you noticed another typo on page 8, which, and it's interesting because so many people have read through this. and-
That's exactly right. It's the same people reading it through, so.
Well, that's what makes it difficult.
Okay, issued, okay, we got that.
Because you're reading your own thing.
So then,
You can read the same mistake over and over if
Exactly.
you wrote it.
again, another question about the monitor
Looks fine.
for the,
Which one?
this is monitoring of the invasives, and so same issue, when it
Fine.
comes time
We'll
to
put it
consider
in.
approval, we can, right, the seeker, yeah, we can't make a conditional seeker review, so that's why the conditions get pushed to the
Let's not
site.
lose the issue, that's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
Yep, it's good, I'll have a note of it, and Cynthia will whisper in my ear. And I think that was your last comment,
Yeah,
Tiffany.
it was like
Those were good.
6 or 7.
Very
So
good, thank
I'll go
you.
back up top, make sure I didn't miss any, but
Thank
yeah,
you.
you and Ann picked up on the same issues.
But it made it, but it made it more clear.
Yeah, that's
So the
all.
only thing, I'm just gonna take a minute and update,
Yes. Everybody's happy.
add this FDR letter.
Thank
Do you have, can you find the copy of the letter you want, the FDR letter? Do you know?
The
Yeah,
Parks, you mean the National Park Service, the MPS letter?
yes, I think yes. I just need to know what the date of it is.
Yes, I can see your little, whatever that is.
Version 11.
Nope, it's right, we'll find it. Okay, moreover, both Winnicke Land Trust and Scenic Hudson groups of conservation should make report, including trust. And do you want me to say Winnicke Land Trust, Scenic Hudson, focus on conservation. I'll put the National Park Service.
They were especially
Which owns-
fond of the trails.
Property adjacent.
Yeah, they felt we
They were a fan.
respected the boundary and the visuals and
Yep.
the,
Thank you.
That was back in November.
a while ago, yeah. I thought it was going to take months and months to get from National Park Service.
Yeah.
Sent to
That was-
something
we were all
in a week.
Pleasantly
Yeah.
surprised
Yeah.
at how quick it was turned around and how, again, what a,
What term did we use?
the positive review that they
Yeah.
had.
And didn't even come from Amy Bracewell, it came from National Park Service, so.
Yep.
So thought it
Yep.
was going to have to go through a whole bureaucracy.
They're usually pretty good, though.
They can take a while.
Yeah, but recently,
I did reach out to them.
That probably helped.
Okay, so anyone else have comments
Yeah, right.
that were sent?
Thank you.
No, sorry,
It's okay.
Okay.
All good.
And everybody's had a chance to review it, right?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to save this one as edited.
Draft 12.
Yep.
Can I get a baker's dozen?
So then this is the one that will be attached to the resolution.
Okay. Thank you for doing that, Victoria, that's,
Yeah.
correcting things on the fly, making
I
sure
know,
everything
it's
is
not
tight.
Takes time.
All right, so can we go ahead and
Mhm.
read the resolution?
Please,
Ms. Wasser, I believe this is yours.
which one?
Yep.
Okay. Resolution adopting determination of significance negative declaration. NRI CIA Hotel and Villas, February 7th, 2024, resolution number 2019-39E. Whereas. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby adopts a negative declaration for the reasons set forth in the attached notice of determination of significance, finding that the project will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts and that a draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. And be it further resolved that the secretary to the planning board is hereby authorized and directed to distribute a copy of this resolution and the notice of determination of significance to all involved and interested agencies, the supervisor of the town of Hyde Park, the applicant, any person that has requested a copy, and to the ENB for publication.
Second, is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
See?
Thank you
There
very
you
much.
go. Sometimes
I
things
really
work
do,
out.
really do appreciate all the work that went into this. I think we all did a really nice job, and I think the project will be better for it, so.
That's what we
Thank you.
ultimately,
Exactly.
that's what we're
We
ultimately
know,
trying
we
to
know.
get
And
to.
It's not easy, and, the drama sometimes gets a little, but thank you.
Thank you.
Is there, so,
So we have
I was going to say, now
one
we can
thing,
move on to other
one
business.
topic before you that was part of your package with respect to, Chris will bring it up, what we're calling an above-grade road improvement plan, Stage 1. You've seen it in your packet and in your cover letter. This is a proposal that we worked on with some assistance by staff to explore a potential pathway so NRI can start limited 3.6 acre tree felling only.
What was that? 3 what?
Tree felling, in other words, not removing the trees,
Toppings,
just
basically.
3.6 acres.
That's what I want right here, 3.6.
Solely on the access parcel, that's that northern parcel, during the current bat hibernation period. That
Right
we're-
now,
That
right
we're,
now.
right now, that we're now allowed to do per the recent determination of the Fish and Wildlife Service and the Army Corps of Engineers, also signed off on it, so as not to lose 8 months of construction if we had to wait to receive full site plan approval, which we're thinking July, August, in around July and August. and could not get started with any tree felling until the next bat window, which would be in October 15th. So what that would do, if we had to wait until that date, we couldn't begin to work on the access road in the St. Andrews intersection. That's the access road up just on the northern parcel, and the DOT gave us permission to fell trees within their right-of-way, also a limited amount, so we could do the access road now and the intersection, so that comes the next bat hibernation period in that October, next October, we will already have the trees down, and we can immediately start the work and finish it. Otherwise, we're pushed back to October just to start the tree felling, and we wouldn't get all that work done, and then we wouldn't be able to do anything until 2025, October. So this would be very limited, only that one area. We discussed with staff a restoration bond that we have to get feedback on, but it's for $113,000. And that if we didn't start the access road, substantially start the access road by April 1, 2025, that would be the end of that window period, we have to restore all the trees. There'll be more than 40 trees planted plus, and that would also include chipping and wood chips and alike, and you know, substantially restore that area, remove any of the trees. And if we don't do that within 30 days of that date, then the town can exercise that bond and perform that work. And if you look at in your package, the plan, you'll see everything is right on the sheet. The commitments, the bonds, you know, everything is there. So that's the limited area. Again, that will allow us, comes hopefully August, when we have our full site plan approval, we have all our involved agency, the trees will be down. That will be a dead period regarding the hibernation, but the trees will be down and we can start the work. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to begin that until, in August, we'd have to wait till that next October to fell the trees, and by the time we did that, we'd have only a limited window to do some of that work, and we'd be into 2025 before we really can do any real construction. So this would be amazing. I just want to thank the staff. They helped us come up with, I think, what was a creative way. I know there's apprehension, to say the least, in the town about doing some of this early tree felling, but I think the limited scope of it with the restoration bonds, and I can tell you, there is already millions of dollars into this project, including all the transactional documents have been done, all the banks are being lined up, all the investors are in. I mean, contractors are hired already. We're doing a lot of the transactional documents too, so I know all the leases, all the construction agreements, all the sublease agreements, all the rental agreements, everything is done already. I mean, this project's sort of ready to start, so that's not going to sit there unattended. So,
Okay.
I know you're not going to vote on it tonight. That's,
No.
no, I know you're not going to.
But I would like to
So,
discuss it.
But
and,
we wanted to discuss it with you, so.
It's so funny. I'm sitting here and I can kind of hear Michael's voice speaking. And I
Michael,
would-
just so you know, we met, helped us, not, that's too strong a word, I know I gotta be careful with how I put it, was part of developing this plan preliminarily subject to the final, he didn't,
To the board.
to the board, and to the board.
Well, I wouldn't say,
So-
right, he didn't develop the plan, we had an offline meeting to discuss.
I said I was trying to be
I know,
careful.
we had an offline meeting with the applicant to discuss what they wanted to do and try and talk through a potential process for them to get that done. And so, if I can just distill what Mr. Zarin is explaining.
Thank you.
The proposal we came up with as a potential path forward, and again, it's up to the board's discretion, is to have this tree felling plan be phase one of the site plan. The tree felling plan is on a single parcel, so it can precede the subdivision plat because it's not crossing any plat lines. So this would be phase one, and they've drawn it up. Phase one would just be cutting the trees down, no removal. And so we have notes on the plan that would say, no removal, no disturbance. It's literally just felling the trees and letting them fall where they may. And then we started talking through, well, what happens if you don't come back? Now we have a lot of felled trees, which is going to disturb the habitat, et cetera.
Fire hazard.
It becomes a fire hazard. There's lots of issues with all those trees laying there. So in that case, we said, well, let's think this through. If it's its own site plan, we're going to put a condition on it that if the next phase is not started within a certain amount of time, and in their note, they proposed by April 1st, 2025. We're going to tweak the notes a little bit, but the idea would be that we have a restoration bond. We could give them notice so that even if the project fails and they never really get it off the ground, CIA and the applicant are going to be on the hook to do this minimum restoration. And so that's the second plan they gave you, which is the restoration plan. So in the event the next phases never happen, they've got to remove the logs and replant all of these species that they've indicated, and I'm assuming some of these have the exfoliating bark we discussed.
And, yeah.
There's 4 shagbark hickories.
Tree
And so,
for tree, exfoliating bark.
there is some risk of proceeding with the tree felling before you've approved the full site plan. But you've already done seeker, so we know these trees come down one way or the other. So the environmental impacts are not the issue. It's just whether you want the applicant to start this small amount of tree felling before we have approval of the full plan.
I have a question. There's 7 weeks left in this time period before their window closes. What is the process if we are amenable to allow it, right? What has to get done in order, and how long does it take for you to cut these trees?
It's
So we're
literally.
we're in a
I'm
public
gonna-
hearing right now. We're in a public hearing, and this is part of the plan, the tree felling we've been talking about forever. But I would like to continue the public hearing for another meeting to allow anyone who's interested specifically in this tree felling plan to be able to comment, so at least 2 weeks. The big plan's already been referred to county planning. I don't think we need to go back to county planning, because again, the trees are coming down either way, under what county planning has already reviewed. So, continue the public hearing to give anyone time to comment on this restoration plan. And then there would be a separate phase one approval for this piece. They've called it stage one. We might call it phase one. They've called it stage one. And then there would be certain conditions attached to this, which would have to be met before the plan is signed. And then once the plan is signed, they could undertake the tree felling, and they said they could get it done.
And post the bond.
Right, they'd have to post the bond, get it approved by the town board, and then it's tight.
How long does it take to clear 3 acres?
It's 2 to 3 days,
Oh, okay.
but hand saws, no major equipment out there. And
So it's still doable.
it's doable. It'd be tight, we're probably looking at that probably the second half of March, right about mid-March,
window.
trying to get those 2 days in there before March 31st.
Okay.
So it's definitely doable.
Is there a plan for how you would cut them down? I mean, if all you're doing is cutting them, it seems that you would need to have a plan in place to do it so that one doesn't fall and make it impossible to cut the others.
Yeah, that,
Well, that's kind of
They-
the
they
tree
move
guys to
them.
figure.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll move them somehow.
they'll cut sections.
And that wouldn't be
Yeah.
something that we would need to,
I think they're,
Examine.
I think they're gonna use the hardwood.
Yeah.
Probably gonna take it off.
No, they can't.
they can't do anything with
We're not
it.
gonna let them?
No.
Not now.
No, it has to just
Not
fall.
within this time.
Only if-
That's why I'm asking, because they're gonna
If they
cut
let
it,
go
it's gonna
too long,
fall.
that's what-
It stays where
Yeah.
it falls. They're not hauling it,
Yeah.
they're not,
Yeah.
they're not,
Not all.
they're walking in, they're not bringing those big
Correct, they're gonna
sleds, they're
have to
not
walk
bringing the
in,
big
they're
pickers that come
staging at
in.
Coco's. And these are the questions we need to make sure they
Yeah,
answer and then they're on
right,
the
exactly. Because you had said with handsaws, did you
Yeah,
say?
I
think
can-
you said
I can
that.
answer.
Yes.
They're gonna,
Chainsaws.
And chainsaw.
chainsaw,
I didn't mean,
they're gonna work their way from the south north. So they're gonna walk into the site, so when the trees are falling, they're not gonna impact as they're proceeding to the north.
Kind of going up a hill, right? a
Correct.
little bit.
So that's how they're going to work their way. We have spoken to the DOT because there are some limbs that extend into their right-of-way. The DOT has asked us just to put down a traffic control plan for the half a day or so that we may be in their right-of-way, just to limb a few branches before we cut the trees.
but we've, I think, provided you
A letter.
with the written consent that they gave us.
Interesting.
Could you remind me again, I know you're explaining it to me, but I just want to ask you, you're felling them, but when are you harvesting them?
Hopefully, it will be
When
at
site plan's
final
approved.
site plan approval, which we
So
hope,
they'll be there for months?
will be in around
Summer.
August. But
They'll
the
be there
problem
through
is, you only have that limited, tree cutting during the hibernation period of,
Right, but, so we're not worried about fire or anything like that if these things are sitting out there all summer? Still too wet?
I don't think, I mean, when you walk into that, there's areas where there's a lot of trees
Right.
There's quite a bit of dead trees in there already.
there are.
in there.
Michael, when you say final site plan, you mean you have all your permits and the site plan is
Correct.
signed?
Yeah.
Yes.
correct.
Okay.
Final site plan means signed site plan that
Okay.
we're hoping is around July, August.
Okay. We're not talking about the resolution, we're talking about all
Correct.
done. Yeah.
Correct.
So the other thing that we were just talking about is the bond, whatever the form is gonna be, it's gotta be accepted by the town board. And I gotta make a recommendation to the planning board first on the amount, and then, the form of the bond or whatever it's gonna be, you're gonna have to work that out.
I'll talk with Kyle, I guess, is,
Either Kyle or there's another attorney in his office that's been doing Hyde Park work.
okay, I'll find out.
Aroli, Ario, whatever, I don't know.
Okay, I'll find out.
Ariel.
So, you'll probably have to request the town board, I don't know when their meeting is in March, you may have to ask them to have a special,
Right.
meeting, so you probably want to get that going sooner rather
Good,
than later.
all right, thanks.
All right?
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Yes, so, yeah, if the town board's only meeting like once a month, you may need to ask them to do a special meeting.
Okay.
Wow. This project continues to explore new, explore new and potential,
Creative ways.
Well, I'll say that part of what prompted us to formalize this in a site plan is that Belfield did something similar under their SWIP. And
right.
it seems that it's better to formalize it as a site plan sheet, so we have some control over the conditions and they're more easily enforced in the event that there's a violation.
As opposed to the SWIP.
Yes.
Interesting.
So we,
Guys, just keep
I
teaching
won't
us.
even bore you with the 6-hour walk with the bat expert.
Please don't.
No, because we just
time.
did the neg deck.
I don't want to talk about that.
so
Tree by tree.
So prior to going to the town board, though, we need a letter of acceptance from
Yeah,
Pete's
well-
office?
Well,
Okay.
so we have our next.
Or in the planning board?
21st. of February.
So I can get that ready by the
Okay.
21st, but you can still work with the town attorney and the town.
Okay.
And, the supervisor as far as.
Getting on a board,
The form
yeah.
of the bond and the language,
Okay.
and is it acceptable, and then you just plug in the amount once the planning board approves it. So we're gonna shoot to have that done at the 21st.
If the board's comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
right, I mean, that's why I
So,
said we're gonna shoot for
I
it.
think my only other question is, what if the site plan changes? So you're following this, and I know we've done a lot of work, but what if the site plan changes and this turns out to change somewhat significantly? Is that your risk?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would assume we would have to
Buy by bond.
restore and do the restoration work. And that's a great point. I think we should put that into the notes, that if for any reason, the restoration is not only that we don't do it, but if we change the plan for any reason, I think that's a very good point.
To
We'll add
revisit the
that.
That was Chris's point.
And the
by
bond
To
is,
revisit the bond
yeah,
amount.
yeah.
I don't like.
Victoria, did you hear that? We asked if the site plan changes, what happens, and
So this is entirely at their risk.
At their risk,
that they would be
yes.
proceeding. And we can add language the same way we did with the sales trailer.
yes.
That would,
And I think that's what
state
you just
that.
proposed, yes.
what we were talking about.
I know, I'm sorry.
No, we were talking about other things. There's actually, signature pages on a cover page that has all the sheets that I wouldn't want to be included, because it looks like then we're approving all those
Oh,
sheets
yeah.
instead of just this one sheet.
I'm not sure if
We were asked to resubmit a new title page.
Yeah,
Right, but
yeah,
the
we
title
don't wanna
page would
sign
just
it,
be
but-
for the one sheet, not for the full plan set. That's all right, we can work that
We'll
out.
work with you.
Okay.
We gotta go look at it, we just got it.
I'm
We just got it last week.
making my head spin.
Yeah.
you know,
So
my
in
head feels like.
concept, are the board members comfortable with phasing out this piece of the project?
Right, that is, I would say, the primary question, but I do want to just ask the consultants the same exact question. Bonnie, is there
So-
anything that we should be paying particular attention to on this?
No, I think because most of this was covered as part of the seeker process and part of the overall site plan review, so you are advancing this, so there's a little bit of a risk, but it's their risk. And, I mean, we just got the hard copy, so we still have to review what's in here. But I think it sounds like this meeting that was held has come up with assurances for restoration and those things I think you'd be concerned of if, for whatever reason, this doesn't continue on.
Okay.
So, I'm okay with that. I think we just have to review it.
Okay. Mr. Sotero, so this is not tied to the SWIP.
No.
Do you have any concerns with this in relation with any of?
No.
Okay.
We've done it before. So, the only thing I want to see, we'll take a look at it. There's probably a couple things, to clean up on here. So,
So the plans need to be reviewed by both you and Bonnie?
I'm thinking in order to meet their timeframes so let's just say that I get something to the planning board on the bond amount that you could consider it at the February 21st meeting, and then Bonnie and I could look at the plans of Victoria, Tad, and provide them with any comments soon, so that potentially, maybe, this would have to be, approval, right? It'd be like
There
a
would have to be,
resolution.
yes, a resolution to
Okay,
approve
so
it.
that would be probably the first meeting in March, that's kind of the goal, or?
I'm,
Probably want to do it before the town board.
right, when is,
Well, the town board's not gonna meet, they don't meet early, in March, they meet, I don't know, the middle of March, maybe, I don't know.
I'll look it up.
So I think that's kind of the goal.
When's the-
In order
Right,
for them
right,
to meet
okay.
there and
When
then
is
deal
the
with the
bat?
town board.
Okay.
March 31st.
March 31st.
So that allows kind of a couple of in parallel
Tracks.
activities to go
Right.
through. Okay. I
So
appreciate that as a
If you
kind of a
need
visual.
Until the March meeting, I mean, we don't have to put it on in 2 weeks. We could just continue it to the March meeting so that these things can all happen.
True.
But
True.
it's up to you. Maybe the board members will have some questions after they go and look at it.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
think what we should do collectively is come up with some comments, and instead of writing letters right off the bat, maybe we email each other comments and get on a call with me, you, Tad, and if, I don't know, Ann or any planning board members, so that we get them one, like, consolidated set of comments in some, like, fashion, so it's,
Sure.
so we try to
Yeah.
make your timeline.
Yeah, as a little snippet of this site plan, it seems to have a,
Just to expedite it.
I was going to say an expedited process to grab all the comments.
Okay.
Okay.
The resubmittal date for the March 6th meeting would be?
We'll work with you, we'll have to figure it out. I mean, it's not gonna be the normal timeframe, so.
Do we
Tad?
have those drawings? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Drawing-
We sent,
should
in
be-
our cover letter electronic submission that we sent to you all,
Oh, and that's it there up on the screen.
What
right?
date?
No, oh, yeah.
3rd January 30th. That was that submission
I know
where
which
we
one you
sent
mean. I
everything?
do.
Yeah, we sent it. So,
Tad, do you have comments?
The only thing I want to make.
Can you come up and speak into the microphone? Sorry. Want to capture your words.
And the only thing I want to make clear is that this will not be considered as vesting in the project.
Oh, it's vested.
Vesting,
Oh,
vesting is going
Ah,
vertical.
right.
The amount of money spent to do this before site plan is signed is not vesting.
How does that
Vesting
happen?
goes vertical, I'm just letting you know. I don't think you expect it to be, but.
yeah, we could do, you could, I'm sure, work out the legal language in the resolution.
That's what it sounds like it would be.
Doesn't give us vested rights.
Lawyer talk.
Lawyer talk.
Lawyer talk.
Lawyers. Okay, so I'm going to start to my right.
Good point.
Mr. Garcia.
Good point.
What do you think of all this?
I mean, it seems simple, unless I'm missing something. You want to cut trees early. The Army Corps said it's okay, am I
Yep.
speaking?
Yeah, when we got the
Other agencies have
wildlife.
said it's okay, the DOT said it's okay for the most part for what they require. You're going to have a bond. The only question I would have is who's figuring out how much that number should be.
They provided what they thought was the amount, so I need to look at it and probably talk, with Tad, because she certainly knows more about trees than I do, but.
And Chris,
We
Chris
gave
is-
itemized,
Yeah. So,
Yeah, or,
I mean,
or Chris, right.
Chris said we want, maybe we, if you move the road, if for some reason the road has to be moved, you'll put it back.
yeah.
And my only other question would be legal. Are we legally, can we legally do this? And it sounds like we
We're not
can.
gonna build anything.
No, we're not
No
building
roads.
anything. We're just putting in a road.
No, we're not putting it.
No, not a road.
Cutting
but the-
trees.
All they're doing is
Lopping
cutting the
them.
trees,
Letting them drop.
falling down, that's it.
Yeah,
So,
I understand.
the restoration bond would just be to cover,
Yeah, the
if they
trees.
don't do it, pull out the trees that were cut,
plant.
plant like new trees, clean up the area, chip a little bit, do whatever. and that's
What
it.
I meant was the future is going to be a road, I guess.
Yes, but not until we get all our
Yeah.
final
The
signed
Stumps is
site
gonna be
plan.
disturbed.
Yep. Okay, that's no other questions.
Thank you.
Well,
Excellent.
cut 'em down
Mr.
close-
Oliver.
close to the ground.
I feel all right with the process. It's you're proceeding at your own risk, and you're obviously confident, so I'm fine with that.
Thank you. And thank you for your earlier comment about what if the site plan changes, so
Yeah.
that was a key. Ms. Wasser?
Yeah, I'm not going to be at the 21st meeting, so I don't, I have to go back and look at the drawings. I don't really have any additional comments. I do, I agree with my colleagues to my right, but is this setting a precedent of some kind? that could be a problem for us, because I would like to support it, I just don't want to create a problem for us down the road.
I understand the concern. Seeker's been completed, so there's not precedent about
That's
skipping
true,
a seeker
right.
review or skipping an environmental review. So once seeker's completed, you can have a phased plan, because there's no longer a segmentation issue. So it does set precedent, though, for you allowing this type of phase. In this case, I think they originally wanted 12 acres of disturbance, and we kind of shook our heads. So they've limited it to the minimum necessary in order to do their first phase, which is just the road installation. But yes, it does set precedent for other applicants who want to do something similar to ask for something similar, but they would have to be similarly situated. They'd have to have a seeker negative declaration
And all the other approvals.
already completed. They'd have to have enough of a site plan review that everyone felt comfortable that this was the right location.
Bond.
They'd have to have restoration in the event that, the project never moved forward.
We're also closing, we would close the public hearing before this happens, yes?
Well, no, we would close it
Or not?
on this. no,
Piece, on this one
Phase.
we-
Well, this is a continued public
It's
hearing.
a
of the
continued
entire
public
site plan.
hearing. So if you want, we can
Pretty much
set
is-
a public hearing just on this particular Phase 1 for the next meeting, and then close it on Phase 1. It has to stay open on the other pieces.
Okay, I think it would be smart for us to kind of close it.
Okay,
on
so
this
then we
piece.
should set a hearing tonight, specifically on this sheet.
And know that if people
Yeah,
want to
not to
speak
advertise.
about it, they have their window, and
Yeah,
then,
good. That works. I think it's small.
Question?
Also, to me, I think as a precedent, and I think the point was made, this is probably 15% of our overall project.
no,
So
I understand all the
discrete-
issues. I just,
I know.
we've had one very big project in front of us, another big
press-
project, now the next big project comes in, and I don't know.
Precedent's important.
I think we're learning how to do it better, though, based
Yes.
on,
Because the original
The
president was
experience.
doing it and tying it to the SWIP.
yes, without a signed site plan.
But it's like a precedent then, too. I mean, they always had it.
Right.
Yeah,
So we're kind of just doing
We're
this where
refining.
where it works.
I'm
And
refining.
I think what makes me comfortable is all the review we've been through to date, and the approvals from appropriate agencies to date. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Thank you. Mr. Waters?
Yeah, so the acceleration of the step would have had to be reached anyway at some point in time, so it's necessary for the timeline regarding the endangered species. So we're actually doing something to protect, the environment in a way. So I'm all for it.
Mr. Veith?
I'm all for it. We have the bond, and, yep, I think it's a good way to go.
Okay, and I will echo my colleagues' sentiments, and I'm a bit awestruck, again, that when everybody puts their heads together and look at the details, how we can continue to find potential solutions. So, we are in a current public hearing. Is there anybody from the audience that would like to speak to this application?
Larry.
Okay. So we're in a public hearing, but we also talked about setting a public hearing for the
just on the
Phase
Phase
1.
1.
So tell me how, so we should adjourn this public hearing to when? This one can go out a little bit more, I would think.
The next piece can probably go to March.
Well, maybe not, because we're going to make a submission tomorrow, maybe, on the site plan issues that you had come to us about that was site plan, the lighting. They wanted all the lighting forms and everything.
That would be for
And
the
then
March
we've
6th
got
meeting.
the architectural,
But could that just be a workshop?
oh, yes,
Deadline-
that could be.
The deadline for the March,
Could be
for
work.
the next February meeting
get
was
these
yesterday
mixed up.
anyways. So I think we can continue to March 6th, the public hearing with giving everyone enough time to review the submission.
Right.
the public hearing on the full plan, the architecturals, et
Right.
cetera.
Okay. All right, does that sound acceptable, that we would set
So-
this public hearing that we're in right now to March 6th?
And that means no workshop on the 21st? I get workshop mixed up with,
The
Well,
problem is,
focus
there's
on
not
the
going to
Wait a
be
minute,
enough.
hold on a second. So I have a huge set of plans that are dated December the 5th. So I should just not even bother reviewing them because you're going to submit.
no. They,
No, and I'm not being.
No,
I
they-
may look like I'm a little argumentative, but I'm not really.
we're not changing
Just
any of the
Italian.
plans.
I'm a nice guy.
We got comments from the county, and we
Yeah.
got comments from Michael at your last agenda meeting, I think, about we need some backup data and so forth on the lighting. We're not changing the lighting, but they wanted backup data. And we had the architectural discussion that you had heard, and there was a question of flat roofs came in particular. So this is a formal submission to the board talking about
Just those
the
things.
architectural and
All right,
flat
so-
roofs and the like.
So what we're going to do
But
after.
your plans are.
Okay, huh?
Go ahead.
No.
There-
You
there-
said what? There's
there-
not
There's
gonna
no
be-
changes to the plans that you have. You have the engineering plans that I submitted from January 2024. The,
No. Plans you gave me have a revision date of December the 5th.
correct, but I'm just saying the ones when we brought it to the town, I think was January 5th or 9th, 2024, we brought another set to the town. I brought another hard copy. I think yours might have been misplaced at CPL.
You added the
Yeah.
construction sheets to
I
that?
added the,
It's like the only
I
change.
combined them, the phasing plans I'd given you in,
Yeah,
in
because
so-
you only got the
Yeah.
construction
So
sheet.
when you guys are done, the two of us, we're going to go in the conference room
Yeah.
because I got a couple, so I'll
Sure.
ask my questions there.
yeah, that works.
Okay.
We didn't change.
Okay,
The
so,
footprints don't
but when we
change.
talk about February 21st, so if we continue this current public hearing to March 6th, that should work, and if we set a new public hearing for Phase 1 to February 21st,
Yeah.
that should get us where we need to go with this
Particular.
Phase 1
What are we calling this?
process.
Phase
Phase 1.
Phase 1.
Phase 1 tree felling,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Phase 1 tree felling.
And do
Project.
you, so help me with the concept of, do you want to have any discussion at your February 21st on the architectural, for example? You want to push that?
That'll be
to
March 6th.
I think push it out.
Clean.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, let's
okay.
just,
That helps me.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Because there's a lot of moving pieces
fine.
in this Phase 1, and we need to, I feel that
Yeah.
everybody needs to pretty much focus
Yeah.
on that for the next 2 weeks.
Okay, good.
Otherwise, I don't know, I
All good.
sometimes fall down rabbit holes if I
Okay.
have too many
All right.
different
all
things
good,
to look
all
at.
good.
So,
So does that all sound like that would
Yes.
work?
yes.
All right, so then
Should we
can I get a motion to adjourn this current public hearing for the CIA NRA Hotel and Villa site plan to March 6th, 2024?
and
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Good.
Can I get a motion to set a public hearing for the Phase 1 tree felling
Site plan.
phase for February 21st?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I didn't know what next year.
I don't. All right, thank you, and
Have a safe ride
congratulations
home.
on your neg deck.
Yeah.
Yep,
A big hurdle, big hurdle.
yes, yep.
Thank you.
Oh, I
Save
think
the
you just
backs.
Down and keep,
the one you did already, just
What's
say
that?
Phase 1. I know. You're on the-
Okay, our next application is the Violet Avenue Coffee Shop.
One gentleman sitting there.
Our patient gentleman in the back. I'm going to guess he's Michael Berta.
Michael Berta. yeah.
That is Michael Berta.
Yes. Yeah. Where is that? Do you want to open that up? So we can see? Did you see that? The coffee shop?
What?
Did you see the coffee shop?
What do you mean, did I see it?
Did you look at the plans?
No, that's it, though.
Yeah, gonna open it up.
My hand's full with this other, reading those 16 pages for the mid deck.
And then they did.
Let's see. Oh, even before.
Okay, good
Good
evening.
evening. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, my pleasure.
And now we are in workshop
I
to
got caught
discuss
up
the
on all my
Violet Avenue
emails.
Coffee Shop.
Got caught up on all my emails, so life is good.
Excellent, excellent. You're all refreshed, you're ready to
I
go.
don't know about refresh, but
Talk to us a little bit about this proposal for a coffee shop.
yes, so we
Across
have,
from the firehouse.
what's that?
It's across from the firehouse on 9G.
Across from Franklin.
Yeah.
A little bit down from, yeah. So what we have was the former, there was an ice cream parlor, then it was I believe it was a barbecue shop for a small time.
It was through COVID, it was the
yeah.
barbecue place,
Okay.
yes.
So what we're doing is, we're going to turn it into a drive-through coffee shop with a walk-up, a little courtyard seating outside. The existing building will be reduced in size in order to accommodate, to get the drive-through in. So we're going to be taking about half the building away, keeping the front half, taking the back half out. We're going to be adding, redoing the parking to get a better vehicular access around. We've come up and we're able to get stacking for 10 cars in the lot. We probably can get a few more. 10, actually, if you look at the site plan, 10, the last car there is the 10th car. So we could, the access road there is wide enough so that we could get a few more stacking if we had to. So the problems at Dunkin' Donuts we won't have. Plus we're going to be landscaping it and redoing the building so it's a little bit nicer building. Adding a little bit more pedestrian access. There's an existing sidewalk there now. We're going to be continuing it to the end of the property line, as well as shrinking down the existing entrance there and doing it a lot more controllable. We'll have two-way entrance, two-way access across from Franklin, and then we'll have a right turn only towards next to the repair shop. So that's it in a nutshell.
Okay. Thank you for the overview. So everybody has received all the plans, I believe. And as we were discussing this in our agenda meeting, we do have a list of some questions that we would like to talk about. And I think I'm just going to ask Bonnie to read it off.
Okay. I mean, literally, we have to hear,
Yes.
so we could
Yes.
start talking about them. So I think many of the questions had to just do with circulation and the relationship between this particular use and then the back uses to make sure that it makes sense. It felt like there might be a pinch point where you're coming around the side of the building and then that lane that is coming out of that back building. There was some discussion with regard to whether there might be a better place for the dumpster, so you're not going across all that traffic. Whether those two parking spaces that are going to reverse out along the southerly line, do they have enough adequate space? Does it in some way impinge upon that traffic flow that's coming through the drive-through? Needs to be some kind of stripe spacing within the proposed parking lot because it's a dead end. And then there's just a question whether that in some way couldn't be reoriented in a way that it's not a dead end. So in other words, someone's going to come in to park by the coffee shop. If for whatever reason the spaces were filled, they need to turn around somehow. So then there was a question, can it be somehow reoriented so that you don't have that situation happening?
Well, okay, start at the top, or do you want me?
Well, so I think,
All right.
so just,
Let me answer the pinch point.
Sure.
So, the way it's done right now is when you come out of the back parking lot, that exits right into the bypass lane. So unless somebody all of a sudden pulls out of the drive-through lane to get into the bypass, there shouldn't be a pinch, because they're going to be going around. And, the only time that there may be a problem is if somebody's coming around the bypass and somebody just got their order and they're leaving at the same time. So that may be the only pinch point that I see.
We were also thinking that a pinch point could be if the garbage needs to be removed, and the garbage truck, because the location of the dumpster right there is kind of, so that's
And the way it's
that's a pinch
angled,
point.
right, and the way
That's
it's
a pinch
angled.
point.
Well, the dumpster itself is actually going to be one of they're going to have to pull out and then pick it up. But I believe that we could set up a time so that they pick up the garbage on off hours.
Good luck with that. I'm not sure that's a can-do.
I think one of the things we talked about, it'd just be very useful, whether they're actually going to be striped and put on pavement, or just for looking at the site plan, putting some arrows in terms of what the circulation is.
Sure.
So it's clear what's two-way versus what's one-way.
Yeah, we can add some arrows, and so, I have to add some signage yet, I know that. So,
Yeah.
I've got to get, crosswalk signs, access point signs.
Right.
And I did look at the, originally, I'll be honest with you, originally I had an opening from that parking lot so you could almost drive right through it.
Yeah.
And, the discussion was then, if we did that, somebody wanted to pull through, they'd be cutting right through the drive-through lane. You may get somebody upset thinking that they're trying to cut the line. So that's why we had closed it. Because, we realized that, but then we started thinking about some other issues that may come up, and, I kind of saw a fist fight in the morning, They need their coffee and then somebody's cutting in, uncaffeinated people, So we did look at that, so I mean, we can revisit it.
Yeah.
So, the dumpster, the two parking spaces, they were intended to be for employee only,
Okay.
but with I know in the code that it has to be, it says 5 feet off, but I thought that was from a residential district.
Right.
I didn't realize that was commercial to commercial.
Yep.
So, the reality of it is those spots got to go away.
Right.
So,
Right.
So we can, we can reorientate, when those are gone, I can reorientate the dumpster a little
Exactly.
bit to rotate it so that it's easier for the truck to pull into the bypass, grab it, and then get right out. So it may be a momentary, pinch, while
Okay.
he's there, but we can make it a lot easier for him to get into the dumpster.
Okay. And then again, just with the pinch point, if you put some dimensions there, because if you look up to where the other building is coming out to the bypass, that's 14 feet.
Yeah.
So, what is that space between the, the aisle?
It's-
And it might be useful also to have some striping there, so
Yeah.
it's clear that they have to stay, and they normally would, because they want to be close to the window.
Yeah, it's 24 feet right there.
Okay.
There is a dimension, right, just above the dumpster.
So it's about down to 12 feet then?
Yeah, so each lane would be 12 feet.
Okay. Okay.
Did we say, Bonnie, in the agenda meeting that maybe the dumpster should be switched with the employee parking because of the 5-foot?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you,
We were just talking about that.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, two different conversations, yeah. But we were talking about that because, with those spaces having to go away, because, we don't have the proper
Okay.
setback. I can take the dumpster and rotate it a little bit
Okay, I didn't-
to make life a little bit easier for them to come in and just pick and pull, and away they go.
Okay.
I think we just want to be absolutely clear where curbing's going, just to confirm that. And then there was some question along the northerly property line, the landscaping, and there is landscaping, and it's unclear
There is-
if some of it's on your property, or if it's on the property line, or on the joining property.
It's a good question. I think, I think it, because at one point in time, he owned both pieces.
Yeah,
So I think the landscaping, it kind of jumps back and forth.
okay,
So, part of the discussion I did have with my client is that we're going to remove the curb on that side so that we can use that area as, for snow storage in the winter.
Okay.
And, so we could just push, move it over there. Obviously, the site's so small that if we get, a major snowstorm, he's going to have to truck it off. There's not much we can do.
So you're removing the existing sign,
Yes.
and a new one will be proposed in that location, or do you have specs for that yet?
At this point in time, I don't, because the coffee shop itself will have signs on the building. So, at this point, in the two businesses in the back, I'm not sure that they really need a pylon sign of any type, because they're not something, you're going to them. And you have the plumber on the one side that they get no foot traffic, because, and the auto repair, that you're going there. So, I'm gonna keep the discussion going, but as of this time, no decision's been made to to replace it.
Okay. So, yeah, so, I mean, the other thing would be to put a sign that has just the address number, because sometimes people are looking for just that, so might be useful. But in some way, let us know what you want to do with the sign, and then, related to the sign, whether there would be any illumination associated with the sign, and what you want to do there.
Anything that we did with the sign, we'd probably just do goosenecks and downlight it.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of internally lit signs, even when they are allowed. I said even when they are allowed.
I know. I don't think I've ever heard those words before.
It's just, so I'd rather see that, and, but we'll find out.
Okay.
I'll find out I'm not sure what's in his lease.
Okay.
In his agreements, if he has to provide a sign for them. I don't know.
Okay. And then in terms of architecture, and you'll get full reviews, but this was the preliminary discussion, just to have colorized so we know what they're going to look like. And then there is a provision in the zoning where flat roofs are really not permitted. So in some of the business districts, you can have like a parapet, you can have things that mask, but, in terms of the roof, what were you thinking in terms of the roof line?
Well, the existing building is a flat roof now. And it's got that little mansard roof on the front. And we're taking that off and we're putting a parapet wall.
Okay.
Parapet all the way around.
Okay.
Because like I said, it's an existing flat roof now that even though we're cutting half the building off, we're just going to maintain it. Where actually the way the building's designed, there's steel beams, there's 3 steel beams in there, or 2 steel beams, sorry. And we're actually cutting it off right after one of the steel beams.
Okay.
So, and it already pitches to the back.
Okay.
So what I've done is, I'm putting a parapet all the way around it, and in the back, I have almost like a gun slot, let's just call it, where the water's gonna drain to for a gutter back there.
Okay.
No, not a scupper. Not a scupper. It's a 12-foot long, 12 or 14-foot long opening that I'm gonna have like an 8 or 10-inch gutter out there with two downspouts coming down to pick up the water. Scuppers are dangerous. They back up very easily.
So that's sort of a summary.
Okay.
So I think, again, the focus, which, wouldn't be surprising, is just making sure the circulation works between the front use and the back use, and that there's adequate space all around. And it sounds like you've picked up some of these things already anyway, so you'll be revising the plans accordingly.
The good thing is we, with removing those 2 spaces, I now can make the access road there a couple feet bigger. So that there's a little bit of extra room there.
Yeah.
So, it was 24 feet only because the building, those 2 parking spaces. So by getting rid of the spaces, I can get that, the access, the bypass in the drive-through lane at 26-foot wide, say, instead of 24.
Okay.
And give a little bit of extra room.
Make sure in terms of parking, you've looked cumulatively at the site, whatever the requirement was for the back property, as well as what's required for this when you do your parking calcs.
Yeah, see, maybe you guys can help me out, because I couldn't find in the code anything required for repair garages. Yeah, I didn't see anything for, auto repair shop.
Yeah, they don't list everything. they try to find something that's like,
And was it always a repair garage shop, or was it maybe like a little strip convenience, but then evolved into a repair shop?
No, it's always been a repair shop, from my understanding.
Yeah, always repair shop.
Okay,
Yeah, it's always been,
Maybe a service-oriented business?
yeah, we'll take a look at that.
It was rural pump service years ago, and then it
Yeah.
turned into a
John-
body.
yeah, I know, that's where John had his shop there years
Yeah.
ago.
Sterling.
Sterling Pump, yeah.
right, right.
So.
You'll
those
hear
are-
about that on the 27th at the United Methodist Church at 7 o'clock in front of the Historical Society.
Just I don't mean to change subject, but is John still with us?
No,
No?
No.
no, he
No.
passed away.
No.
No,
Which John?
Rule, yeah.
John Rule, no.
Passed away a while ago.
Yeah, it was a family friend that we lost touch with years ago. And when I
So,
lost my mom, I lost touch with him.
sorry to hear that. So those are the highlights again, and thank you. Pete's still, I guess, in the back.
Yep,
so-
yep. Tad, take the empty seat.
Sometimes there's equipment or utilities on the roof. Are there any anticipated on this roof, and will they be screened?
The parapet wall that's being planned is going to screen anything that's up there, and the units that are going up there are small. Because of the size of the building, we don't need big package units. The walk-in cooler condenser is 3 feet tall. Yeah, and then the condenser for the HVAC is about the same size. They're tiny because we're talking about a 700 square foot building. You know, and getting a remote for the walk-in cooler, there's really not a lot of heat generated inside. So we don't need a big AC load. And the parapet wall is going up about 4 feet above the existing roof line in the front. And then it slopes to the back, so we've got about 5.5 feet in the back of parapet wall.
Okay. Pete, just in time.
Yeah. I'm up.
Questions, comments about the Violet Avenue Coffee Shop?
At this point, the only thing that I was looking at when I looked at the plans was just to make sure there was enough drain inlet, sorry, thank you, drain inlets, because they're putting in a lot of, like curbing and such, making sure that water wasn't going to be trapped anywheres. And then the other thing, when I looked at it like today, Mike, I was thinking, so where the two-way like entrance, well, the two-way access point, when somebody comes in, maybe there needs to be like a painted, there's no room for a sign, because you come right in and then you're headed towards, the parking area that's curbed off at the other end, so nobody can go through and cut, the drive-through. But for somebody to, once they get used to it, but I'm wondering if there should be a painted arrow
Sure.
or something that says drive-through.
We were actually talking about
Oh,
that
you did
before.
already?
Yeah, we were
Sorry.
talking about striping the drive-through so
Okay.
that, putting drive-through bypass
Okay.
on the ground.
Got it.
And
Okay.
there is, as you get around, one reason why the island is there between the parking and that is so I can get a couple of signs. I'll put a sign, we'll put a sign there that'll say, drive-through left and, bypass to the right on it. So we'll take care of that.
Again, you're gonna have, you're gonna be going to, this Department of Transportation anyway.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you've got some ins, I think.
Yeah.
So maybe, because I was also thinking maybe that two-way access could be slid north, like a little bit, that would kind of give the people coming in and making that turn to the right, and then you may be able to put like a sign in that, the island,
Yeah.
or right like in front, so just,
I'm kind of hearing mixed things with the entranceway. Some people are telling me that, DOT is going to want it directly across from Franklin, and others are saying that.
oh, that's right, I forgot about,
You know, so,
I forgot about that, yeah.
I would love to move it
See what
north.
they say.
Yeah, I'm going to have
Yeah,
that
no.
discussion with them.
That's right, you're right.
Yeah, because I'd love to move it north because it is kind of an awkward turn right now, because it's almost a hairpin turn if you're coming south. That's why it's also so wide there.
All right, we'll see what they say. I mean,
if if they'll let me move it to the north, I'd love it. I would absolutely love it, because it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah. Maybe if if they do allow, I mean, maybe if it's offset enough from like Franklin,
Yeah.
that, I don't see why, but again, that's, their deal, so.
That's and I lost part of my in because Paul left.
Yeah, well, whatever. All right, so I don't really have a lot of I mean, did you guys talk about like traffic yet, or no?
No. No.
Okay, so, that's it for now.
I mean, you just kind of did a little bit.
Well, as far as getting people into the drive-through, but a
Yes.
lot of it's going to depend on what, the state,
Right.
wants
Right.
them to do. So we'll just have
Yeah.
to see what the state says.
Yeah. I remember we had a discussion once about that, and I remember Michael walking us through
Oh, yeah,
and
there's no
telling us
impact
how
up there.
the offset is not the preferred way, because
You did talk
that
about there's
actually
no
causes
backup.
more accidents. It's
Right.
when you're facing directly that you can make the clean left and right.
I have to assume that the state's going to be just happy to the fact that we're shrinking the curb cut.
The open, the
And we're
openness.
going to control it more than, right now, it's the Wild West.
This is true. This is true.
Did you guys talk about the dumpster?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
He's taking out the 2 employee spots and moving the dumpster up there and
Okay.
orienting it so it's easier for the
We're gonna-
garbage to pick it up.
I'm going to rotate it so that the garbage truck, when they turn the corner, they can just pull straight in
Yeah,
and out.
yeah.
And we did talk about the backup issue, that there needs to be some accommodation for if they go in the parking area and there's no parking, that they
Yeah.
have to somehow back up.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out, because again, like I said, we had looked at that already, and then had the back open so that they could drive straight through, but then, we kind of weighed that against,
What she's referring to is to take the westernmost 2 parking spots and striping them so they can't be parked in. And that's where people would go in and they could turn around and get back out.
I mean, we only have,
Do you need all that parking, Mike?
So I think that's another one of
You
our
know,
comments.
yeah,
is
I mean,
that
that's-
because it's site plan, you need to give us employee numbers for every business on there,
All right.
because it's all shared parking, and so we need to know how many absolutely need to be there. And that'll help you too.
yeah. Yeah, and again, like I said, I do know that the HVAC, they have only 1 or 2 cars there, personal cars, because a lot of them, they drive the van back and forth. So they don't have, there's only, anytime I've been there, there's been, I think, 3 most cars. And then
We
the
just need
repair guy,
numbers.
yeah.
Yeah, we just need the
Yeah.
numbers.
Right, so I think it's helpful to provide what the code requires, and then if you're not meeting that, you're gonna need
Well-
an explanation for why you're not meeting that.
Okay.
Well, one of the explanations could
Question.
probably will be, you're not going to get any high-volume like users on this site because of the limitations on the septic. You
Right.
know, so if it's, somebody with 40 like employees probably won't be able to move into the back building if all the employees are going to be working at that building all day long, so. Do you know if the septic area that's shown on this plan, is that for,
The whole site.
That's for the whole site, so I think that's going to be a limiting factor.
We've already taken it, and I'll supply you with the letter. We've already actually approached the health department, and they've already sent a letter saying that what the intended use is actually a decrease in what was approved when it was the
Yeah, I would
ice cream in
Yeah.
the restaurant.
Yeah, that would make sense, yeah, okay. Okay.
Call it down.
Vehicle repair requirement.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that-
what I was gonna say.
missed it, I'm sorry.
At least 10 spaces, 2 spaces for 3 employees.
2 spaces for 3 employees?
Yep, plus 10.
And there's also service business for the plumbing business.
Yeah. And we'll give you actual numbers, though, because, again, like I said, there's, I believe, the owner and his office manager that's there, that's it.
Right, but again,
Yeah,
mark what's required,
Yeah.
and then,
All right.
so that was one of my comments. And then, it's gonna be a type 2 action, once they come back, so we won't have to do a secret review on it. It's an existing building that's actually being reduced in size, but it will still need to go to the county at some point.
We're 229, yeah.
Yeah, there's a list
Do
of
we have lighting on here?
involved.
Yeah, there's lighting in there.
agencies and- Okay.
And I did realize that, I'm gonna shoot my drafter, me. I missed, the
Another
pole
guy.
height.
Another guy that's gonna go shoot his drafter. Is it the same drafter
I was
that
gonna
works for
say,
both
maybe-
No, this one's me. This one's me.
Oh.
This one,
Well,
I'll
call
just
us, call us before you try that, because we want to talk you out of it.
talk me off the ledge.
We've already done that
We like
tonight.
you.
Yeah.
We've already done that tonight.
No, but I realized that it was a typical detail, and I realized that I missed changing the number.
Right?
Oh, my God. Poor drafters.
Poor draft.
No.
Well, I'm harassing myself. So there's a reason why I decided to work alone.
Anything else, Ms. Polidoro?
No.
Anything over there? Okay. Mr. Veith?
The only thing we saw was the light pole height.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're taking care of that, and the new photometrics on that. Everything else looked good.
Yeah, the photometrics are in there. I believe they were set on a 15-foot high pole
Good.
when they were done. I'll verify that. And we got the 3,000 kelvins, so I know I beat that into them, because the original one came back much higher.
Right. That's it.
Anything else? Okay. Mr. Waters?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Ms. Wasser?
Same, nothing tonight.
Okay. Mr. Oliver?
Nothing new to add, thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing from me.
Jeez, Mike,
Okay, so,
what's up with that?
Well, I learned from the other one, the last one.
hey,
Coffee expert.
smart
I'm
man.
not sitting in the audience.
So I would just thank you for bringing another business
Is this ready to go to
into
county?
Hyde Park, which is always nice. Did you talk to him about updating the zoning chart and adding the scale numbers? Okay, need to update the zoning chart and add scale numbers.
Okay.
The other question that came up was paving, right? It's, currently there is like a crushed, it's a strange, is it
But it's-
paved right now?
It's paved with broken pavement and concrete over it.
Oh, classy.
Yeah,
Will that be changing?
yes. Yes.
Okay. Because that, to me, goes along with Pete's questions about the curbing and water flow and...
Yeah, by the time you cut everything to put the curbs in, it's gonna be nothing left, really.
Oh, no, we're gonna have to either retop what's there or put in new. And then the other thing too is now we're taking those 2 employee spaces out. We're, that's gonna go back to green space. So the amount of impervious from existing to proposed is actually gonna be lower.
And that is actually another point that we would need to be evaluating.
Yeah,
Right,
because
total
we're,
impervious on the site?
yeah, because we're adding the island in between the drive-through lane and the business in the back, so we're adding that island now, which is currently asphalt or broken,
I was going to say,
broken
it's kind of
something.
broken, it has some weeds
It's-
popping out, I think.
Yeah,
It's
it's,
like grasses sometimes
so,
popping their head out. Okay,
so right there, and then, the edge of pavement that's currently on the northern side is actually going to be moving south a little bit. So we are trying to restore as much green space as possible on the lot. Definitely is going to be more than what's there now.
okay. And then my only other question is this site, are you planning on also selling food through the drive-through?
I don't believe so, but he hasn't, he's still up in the air on what's who's going to run it, if he's going to hire a company to run it for him, or if they're going to do it themselves. I don't know that yet.
Okay,
That's
because
still
that
in-
has a direct impact into stacking?
Yeah, I don't believe.
We're learning also about coffee here, it's so funny.
Any food that may be done will be pre-packaged, pre-made food that I want this, and you hand it to them.
So do you remember the note we put on Ready Coffee?
Yes. Yes.
Because otherwise, we have to look at different queuing and different
Yeah,
numbers.
I'll take that, I'll get that note from Joe and put it on.
Okay.
But no,
Because it
it's.
does, it makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely, no. There's not enough space in there by the time we put the cooler in, the ADA compliant bathroom, have a little bit of storage. There's really no room to do anything in there.
Okay.
What we did out of the other coffee shop I did in LaGrange is it's basically, they order food in from a distributor, and it's like, 3 donuts in a box or croissant that's in a sealed package,
They're just grabbing off a shelf.
basically,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. I think that's all of my questions. You covered the light poles.
I don't want to name it,
It is?
The one in.
LaGrange.
The one in the old shopping plaza.
No, I thought you were talking about this one.
No,
Okay,
no, this one is not going to have any.
so next steps.
I think,
I think
I
we
don't
need
think we're
another-
ready for county planning yet. I think the
No.
plans need to be.
No, I
updated.
need to adjust a couple things.
Yeah, I think knowing where the openings are going to be per DOT, or, a rough, even a semi-verbal
Yeah.
acknowledgement
was-
from them that,
I will be honest, I waited until tonight's meeting before I set any appointments with DOT. I wanted to kind of gauge what, thoughts were from here
okay.
before I did that, so, like I could, the Peter comment moving the interest slightly, now I can pose that to him.
Yeah, I
Instead
mean,
of letting
I
them-
don't really have a lot, it's just, make sure there's enough like basins there, and I already mentioned it, like to John, and like he
Yeah.
knows it too, so.
We're replacing the pits in the back with new ones, and there are a bunch of,
Yeah.
we are adding a bunch of catch basins
Catch
in.
basins to get to, the leaching pits, and the leaching pits are far enough away from the septic.
Yeah, the leaching pits are right in front of the back building,
Yeah.
and they are getting changed. And a new equalizer pipes are getting put
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
Okay, so our next steps are, I'm sorry,
Dimensions, I think you said you were going to put dimensions on the plans.
I've got a bunch on there now, I realized
But on the
that.
floor, on the elevations, if we can.
Oh, you want me in the elevations? Absolutely. Yeah,
that's-
okay,
that's-
sorry.
That's the best
Yeah.
place to look at them.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about
No.
site plans and turning radiuses, okay, no problem.
No, I
Yeah.
could scale with my eyes.
No, that's okay, I'll add some dimensions on there.
okay. Any other comments?
Right.
We're gonna finalize it, I'll have the colors
okay.
finalized by
I'm
next
sorry.
meeting too.
Okay, nope,
And we'll finalize the colors of the building also by next meeting.
all right, so I guess that's my question, is what are next steps? When do you want to come back?
I don't think we need to put it on the agenda
It's up
until
to
they make a
them.
resubmission.
Right, okay.
Leave it
Yeah,
open.
It's,
Sounds good.
I think, because I'm still waiting on comments, so once I get them, I would say,
Yes.
I'm.
And you want to
I'd like to sh-
incorporate those and,
I'd like to shoot to get on the first meeting in March, because I know I won't be, there's no way I'm going to be ready for, the next one in February,
right.
so.
well, you'll be in contact with your various agencies and
Yeah.
and Cynthia, and we'll hope to see you back soon.
You will. John's pushing me now.
Okay, well, thank you, and
Well, thank you.
appreciate you coming out tonight.
I appreciate the help.
Yes.
So that's
Look forward to working with you guys on this.
actual dollars.
You're a seasoned veteran at this point. Okay, the next item on our agenda is Teresa Nanavati, who has received a site plan waiver for heat pumps. It seems to be the hot topic these days. And everybody have a chance to read this?
Yep.
You have this,
I
Mr.
do.
Oliver? Go ahead.
Teresa Nanavati, 6 Common Place, Hyde Park, New York, resolution number 2024-03. Whereas, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed changes as described in the request for a waiver of site plan received by the Planning Department on January 9, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Thomas Woods, site plan waiver, to grant site plan waiver for a replacement of siding, roofing, windows, doors, porch, and exterior lighting at a single-family house and accessory studio at 6 Commer Place. This is located in the scenic area of statewide significance. I believe,
I'll
Rob,
make
you have
that-
this?
Yes, I'll make that motion. Thomas Woods, 8 Albertson Street. February 7th, 2004, Resolution 2023-58, whereas a request for site planning waiver has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by Thomas Woods to renovate the one-family dwelling and 2-story art studio, including demolition and reconstruction of a covered front porch on a single-family home. And whereas, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed changes as described in the request for a waiver of site plan received by the Planning Department on January 18, 2024. This approval does not authorize a second dwelling unit or any commercial business use on the premises.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Jeffrey Groves Estates.
Okay, we've got a...
We're considering amending the site plan amendment to move a condition number 3 from a condition of site plan signature to a condition of certificate of occupancy. We've all had a chance to read this, and, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Veith.
Resolution to amend the conditions of amended conditional site plan approval, Jeffrey Groves Estates, February 7th, 2024, Resolution 2018-04P and 68-12L. Whereas, now there be it resolved that the planning board hereby modifies the resolution by deleting condition number 3. Be it further resolved that the planning board hereby modifies the resolution to add an additional operative clause to be inserted after the second operative clause to read as follows. Be it resolved that prior to the zoning administrator authorizing the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the project, the applicant shall provide evidence of the license agreement for the guide rail and retaining wall as required by the Dutchess County Department of Public Works, DCDBW, or a letter from the DCDPW indicating that such license agreement is not required.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next item is Phantom Fireworks, site plan waiver for temporary sales location. Is it that time again already? Jeez.
I think he's early this year.
Okay. John,
Yeah.
you have this one?
Yep. Phantom Fireworks, Eastern Region, Gardner Van Valkenburg. February 7, 2024, Resolution 2024-05, whereas a request for site plan waiver has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by Vincent Sabo, Phantom Fireworks Eastern Region LLC on January 30, 2024 for approvals required to establish a temporary sales venue for sparkling devices, and whereas therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed temporary change as submitted on January 30th, 2024, and on drawings as submitted, and that such request is to be incorporated into the record.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next item is to decide on a site visit to Relier Properties. This is the application before us up on 9G.
The old Nichols Oxygen.
The old Nichols Oxygen site, yes, right next to One Stop Deli.
Coming back at us.
So they have offered Tuesday, the 20th of February, or Saturday, the 24th. Being that some people work, it might be hard on Tuesday, the 20th, and plus it gets dark earlier still. So if we did Saturday, the 24th, we would need to figure out what time. We can...
He was open to any.
He was open at any time on Saturday. I would say if we could do it maybe midday, maybe? I don't know. I have no idea what people's plans are.
Yeah.
Okay. Midday?
Yeah, yeah.
Midday?
That's fine.
Midday?
When is that?
All right.
Like one?
1, sounds good. That's midday.
Midday.
It's the warmest part of
Midday
the
is
day.
not 1. Midday is 12.
High sun, right?
And one is afternoon.
Is it? No.
It's still mid.
Is
Oh
it
my
still
God.
that?
It's still mid.
No way.
Thursday, February 24th, 1 PM. I'll let them.
There you go.
Yes, thank you.
Well done, Cynthia.
Excellent.
Now-
Can I have a motion to adjourn, unless there's any other business?
What is Larry needs to address anything?
Did you want to go?
I'm here, just in case there's any questions.
Okay.
We don't.
This was
So
regarding the
that-
path,
On the trail?
the trail, the path?
Well, and any final plat stuff, we're trying to get this wrapped up.
Right, so I didn't hear from all the board members. So essentially, the subdivision plat was conditioned on the applicant granting us several easements. And one of them was an easement for the trail location. They're using, for phase 1, they're using an old logging trail as their recreational trail. So when I went ahead and said, well, where's the trail easement? Larry kind of, he said, wait a minute, that was only intended to be temporary. So there was somewhere, there was a big rush to get that done, and instead, Larry is asking that the board accept a trail easement in a similar size, but in a different location. So the logging trail exists, to answer your question, it can still be used, but he would propose a permanent trail elsewhere on the property for phase 1. And so the question was the board okay with that swap? The condition just says, trail easement as approved by attorney. It relates to the subdivision plat set, but Tad is okay accepting it as a de minimis change if the board members don't have an issue with it.
And then my question was, is it going to incur cutting trees or anything to put this in?
Well, it's in the, it's not really a right-of-way because it's not owned by the town, but it is in the easement, access easement number 3, wholly within that easement.
So you're not proposing a separate trail easement, you're proposing something within the roadway?
Right. It's wholly within that easement, which this trail is allowed to be in there. So there's no need to do a meets and bounds, on the trail. Now, we also have a rugged trail going from the southwest corner up to the hotel. That's wholly within Lot 4, which is the master HOA.
But we
And
still
those-
need the easement on that.
And those trails are allowed within there. Trails, sidewalks.
No, but there's no master HOA yet, but we can talk about that.
But true,
later.
right.
So
Will be.
that doesn't exist yet.
Correct. But that's the idea, that these trails will end up in a master HOA or an access easement. Where we currently show
The
it,
problem always is that the master HOA is coming in the future, and so if they stop development now with the townhouses and what they have, then then those trails have never come, But, so right now, it's a swap for,
Right.
he's proposed, there's a road with a sidewalk on one side and no sidewalk on the other side. So the new trail location would serve as the sidewalk on the other side of the road.
Right, that's how I read it. And I also, and the other way, in the way it was presented, it also sounded like that's to get all the paperwork to map and match to what needs to be there. But at a later time, the trail, a different trail could be
we're going to add
added.
a trail when we do that condo site that will go up and around.
That's.
Right now, the logging
That's not on the
road,
paperwork, but.
the logging road goes right through proposed
condos,
buildings.
yes.
Yeah, so we can't.
And so from a paperwork perspective, that can't be.
Right.
I mean, it
Because-
could, but then it's more paperwork to undo it
Right,
later.
it's more paperwork to
Yes,
undo.
yes.
Right,
Well, it's going through condos that were in the concept plan.
right, correct.
And your proposed trail is longer than the other one.
Well, it's 400 linear feet, which is a requirement in the Phase 2 plan.
All right, so we
have
met that.
Yeah, on
Okay,
sheet
great.
008, we define how many linear feet of trails and sidewalks go in each phase, and we equal that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with it. yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Good.
I just didn't want to cut down on.
Good thinking.
Yeah, one other thing, just FYI, I think,
This is the developer's one other thing.
everybody would be interested in this, I gotta find it.
Oh. If we're interested, that's good. That's
So, when I come into the site in the morning around 7:30, I go through the hotel and I check the tags, because I want to see who's coming in
License plate.
to Hyde Park and Belfield. So this morning, there was California, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Georgia, Florida,
Wow.
Massachusetts, South Carolina, New Jersey, and New York.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Very good, well done.
Congratulations.
This is
And they weren't all just culinary students parking.
correct. Correct.
And you and Tom aren't out there changing plates.
No, but this is the whole tourism thing.
Yeah,
It's working.
Yes.
So, great job.
That's great.
Yeah. Great job.
Larry, you
Very
also
nice.
mentioned that trail that the board made sure went in between the corner at West Dorsey to the hotel has been heavily used, that rugged trail you call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then on the, just so, again, so you know, the rugged trail is in, going from the hotel to the
Yeah.
Corner.
southwest corner.
Yeah.
People were walking on it yesterday,
Nice.
so. Now, they
The sun
walked,
came out.
turned around.
Well, there's a bus stop,
and
there's a
came
bus
back.
stop right there.
Yeah, there's a bus stop.
Yeah,
So it's working, you know, it's working.
excellent,
So,
excellent.
do you have any more questions for Lynn or me, or?
Do we need to do anything else up here? Did we do what was needed?
Yeah.
No, we don't, I don't think we, do you want a motion,
to
Ted?
adjourn.
We
Oh, a motion to adjourn, okay.
No, but we don't have to, we gave him authorization to do it. It's de minimis.
Ted ultimately gets to enforce the condition, but she's
Okay.
fine with it, because she heard all of you
Good.
say that you're fine with it, so it'll
Okay.
be a de minimis change. But, I mean, there's still things that we need to finish. The attorney has the stormwater easement, the town attorney now, so
Yep.
we've got to push through.
Thank you very much to get that through so we can get this wrapped up and get these things going.
Okay,
There you
so
go.
if there's nothing else,
Go, wait.
motion to adjourn,
No, adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all, and thank you, Town of Hyde Park, for broadcasting this, and thank you, Tony, for
Thank you, Tony.
making
thank you,
us,
Ann.
making
And
us look
thank you,
good.
Ann,
Larry.
nicely done.
Great job.
Are we off?
I took your role tonight for second.
Thank you, thank you.